nice and fast, already try. Oh, beautiful counter to the takedown. Thank you for joining us tonight.
A disadvantage was Zayef, but then he...
Waiting too much on Trixie. Nice shooting, good turning.
Watching our Twitch, watching on YouTube, watching from around the world tonight. I know the UFC isn't on right now, but guess what? The virtual octagon is here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESFL Gaming Network for the Proving Grounds, the event that determines if you punch your ticket to the big show. I'm DeBane, and joining me in the booth is Romero. Romero, how are we doing today?
I'm feeling great, brother. I can't wait to see. Some of these are up-and-coming contenders looking to make a name for themselves in the EA Sports community, as well as some members who have, they've lost their role in the ESFL, and they're looking to get that spot back, fighting their way through the fire. That is EA Sports UFC 4. We're going to be in for a huge, huge treat tonight with all these top-quality, promising young bucks here.
Talking about promising, let's take a look at the contestants for today's show. We'll throw it over and just run through the gauntlet of who we have. Remember, as you mentioned, we've got some returning veterans of the scene, but a lot of people that are entering for the first time on the main stage. Now, talking about the first matchup that we're going to be looking at, Heavy Hands versus Chazman. Romero, I'll let you break that one down.
Well, Heavy Hands, he's been involved with the competitive scene since UFC 3. He actually helps run the league, Showtime MMA, which obviously does a little bit of no-HUD stuff that I like, wink, wink. And he's extremely well-rounded based on the footage. He has really solid boxing, claims to have a very unique style, and it's pretty hard to do on this game. So I'm looking forward to watching him perform right here over on Proving Grounds 9. And up against Heavy Hands is going to be the Chazman. Chazman's a former member from the now disbanded AK camp. He had a, very good run in the UFL, and he was top ranked, beating some supposed big names. He competes a lot in other leagues. Once assembled a 22-0 record in another league and spars with a lot of the big names in the ESFL. So, you could be the man in the practice room. You could do everything that you can, but now the lights are on. He's trying to punch his ticket into the ESFL to see if he can get it going.
Definitely have to perform. And the next matchup that we're going to be looking at is two performers. PeaceMihai War taking on Rock Roman. Going to go through Rock Roman first. Very calculated in the striking domain with an elite stamina management. That cardiovascular system does not expire through 15 or 25 minutes. And we'll say versatile. You have to be well-rounded at the top, but there's very few more well-rounded than PeaceMihai War. Technical striking, great submissions, a hard worker. This guy puts in the time, the effort, the energy, the blood, sweat, and tears to make it to the ESFL. So we'll see if he gets back through a former ESFL fighter in Rock Roman. Now, the next one up, you've got LW Jacquees taking on the Bulgarian mother effer Stoyan. BMF versus LW. Romero, that's going to be a good matchup for sure.
Yeah, with LW, he was an original selection for the ESFL Camp Clash. For those of you who don't know, Lethal Weapons, their guy, the one that they set in, he ended up winning the whole damn thing, beating names like Zayef and beating names like Blake. So if his team member could do it, then he might be another team member of Lethal Weapons to make it here in the ESFL. So he's looking to make a big splash here. And then obviously BMF Stoyan, always on the leaderboards of ranked championships. And you can always see him putting in a lot of work in these athlete leagues. He's a former cage champion at UFCL, and the clan name ain't exactly the most viewer friendly, but like they say, Bulgarian efforts. He's patient, he's solid in striking. Says he's very technical as well. So you got two individuals here. They claim to be more technical. One claims that he can run that little run on the stamina. But like I said, we're gonna let these things play out. Run us all through our next matchup, buddy.
Killers in action, announcing themselves once again. Love the KIA camp, and Notorious is a phenomenal representative for them. Today, he's going up against the Axe Murderer War, which is his first time, right? He's fighting to get to the ESFL. This is his dream to make it to the big stage. Notorious, a former ESFL fighter looking to make the return. Truly a veteran versus the debutant. Interested to see how it matches up. Notorious has the good striking, has the great counters. Better be very wary in the phone booth with him, as well as a solid ground game, right? KIA are known for their control, their positional dominance once the fight hits the mat, but you have to think it will hit the mat with Axe Murder War. Guy's got solid takedowns, the double legs, the single legs. He knows how to run the pipe, Romero, and with elite side control, you really have to look out for everything. Mind your P's and Q's, dot the I's, cross the T's when you've got Axe Murderer War inside control on you. And the last fight of the evening today, Pressure versus Storm, Romero.
Man, with Pressure was a former leader of the AK camp. AK camp was running rampant on ranked championships.
put them
They
into-
were on gauntlets. It was streaming on forever just to maintain these top 10 spots. You know, he was formerly undefeated before when he was fighting in these unaffiliated leagues. He took a little bit of a break on UFL. You know, he promises to showcase us a new style, something just away from how he used to fight under AK. And he wants to amaze us here, the commentators. But in front of Pressure is Storm. And Storm, he nearly qualified for the UFC League Summer Series, which is extremely difficult to even qualify for, through a very, very contested open qualifier. Just came up a little bit short. Now here's another opportunity for Storm to make some waves and bring down Pressure as he tries to get this ESFL spot.
The proving grounds are set. The blood will be flowing today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into the first matchup of the evening. Chazman versus Heavy Hands, contested at 155 lightweight. To begin things for us, Romero, it appears that we're going to be looking at Conor, the Notorious McGregor versus Dustin, the Diamond Poirier.
Yeah, and with Conor McGregor, he's something that I like to call a pseudo 4-star. He's not really truly a 4-star. Yeah, and you know, just coming before we even get onto these fighters and their choice selection. Let's talk about next week's card and who we have on their bane.
You know, looking at ESFL 124, you've got Zayaf once again looking to make the return to the octagon and retain one of his belts. This is a kid who has proven time and time again how elite of a competitor he is within the esports landscape. And, you know, there are very few challenges left for him. It's almost at the point in his career where he's been there. He's done that. He's checked every box that he possibly could, but there's a few boxes that you can't check, and Bang Bang is certainly one of them. Bang Bang, a pressure fighter, offensive, aggressive from the get-go, wants to suffocate you. So we'll see how Zayaf deals with it, right? There's a bit of a difference in opponent that he's facing now. Bang Bang, formerly part of the Elite King camp, now out on his own independent contractor, as some would say, trying to snatch the PlayStation title. In the co-main event, you've got Death Punch, who was the Esports Summer Series winner, taking on Spill Actions. What do you make up of that co-main event matchup?
Well, that co-main event matchup, that was the final for the Esports Summer League. And, you know, it's funny, talking about crossing off boxes, that is the one thing Zayaf hasn't been able to do. Win an Summer Sports League title. Like, he hasn't been able to win an esports title. That's the one thing he hasn't been able to do. So if he goes through Bang Bang, he has to go through either the winner, who is Death Punch, who's on a tear right now on both ranked championships, obviously winning the $2,000 that event. And now this is a rematch. This is a rematch. And there's no best of 7 here. It's one fight, one victory, and Spill Actions. You know, he's familiar with the way Death Punch plays. It's only going to be 3 rounds, not going to be a 5-round fight. This is going to be, if you miss this co-main event, you're doing yourself a disservice as not only a competitive player, but as a spectator, because the main event, the co-main event, they're just going to be at the top level, where there's going to be striking, grappling, transitions, and counters. Everything's going to be there. If you watch the Summer League series, you're not going to be surprised. And, you know, it's just, we're just in for a huge next week.
Talking about elite action, that does obviously flow into the rest of the card. One of the names that I want to talk about, 2 of them actually, I'll give you a combo. Daniel the Freeman, one of the best creative fighters on the scene. This guy's dedication to the calf pick is something that astonishes me time and time again, with how he is able to find the victory and make getting his hand raised an easy aspect of his game. I mean, I haven't seen Dan Freeman lose in a very long time, and he's taking on, right, these 4.5-star fighters who everybody plays, right? They've got so much experience. Dan's just a cat, but he's making it work at the biggest stage of the game. And also, you can't forget Ed Parker taking on UFC Twitter thug Ed, now returning once again. He's had some ups, he's had some downs, Romero, but Ed Parker is back once again.
Yeah, Ed Parker, you know, it's been a very tough road here for UFC 4 for Ed Parker. You know, some would wonder if that magic is still there for him. He's obviously very competitive, still one of the best players out there. It just hasn't been on the side, but he's making a return. He claims that he's rejuvenated. He claims that He's ready to take back what is his. He's a former UFC 3 champion, two-time, I believe, UFC 3 champion, has not touched the belt at all on UFC 4, and he has a tough test ahead of him with UFC Twitter Thug. Twitter Thug did give one of his own campmates, Young Poe, a pretty tough fight. So right now, first fight back, he didn't want to play any games. Ed Parker chose the toughest opponent available to him, and you haven't seen Ed Parker run with McGregor. Oh, that is just a delight. That is just a delight. There's nobody like Ed when it comes to using McGregor the way that he uses McGregor. You can say anything about the wins or losses, but the aesthetic way that he plays is just visually appealing, bar none.
Talking about bar none. Gonna go through one last fight in the prelims before we get underway. Gavin War versus Morbid Madlad. Morbid Madlad is on a losing streak. This is a guy who has his back up against the wall. Morbid is fighting, I think, for his place in the ESFL. I'm not gonna paraphrase, but I believe it's 5 fights in a row that he's dropped, taking on Gavin War. Gavin just contested against T4H Rayhan over in Cage Rage for the championship. Didn't get it done that evening, but Gavin, a guy who's fighting the best of the best, Morbid Madlad, has a very tough test in front of him. That one's gonna be the 4th fight of the evening. Make sure to tune into that one. Now, it's time, Romero, that we get underway for the Proving Grounds. Chazman versus Heavy Hands at 155. Diamond versus Notorious. Southpaw versus Southpaw action. McGregor having a slight reach advantage, which really depends on how you play the character, right? If you play it long, if you play it rangy, you can make the usage of that slight reach advantage. But a lot of people like to contest with the Notorious inside the phone booth.
Yeah, and with the phone booth, especially with Dustin, with his health stats, with his move levels. People talk about the stats, but it's truly the move levels that make the fighter, and especially these buffs to his hooks, his crosses, and the calf kicks. You can't forget about the calf kicks. You can interrupt somebody in the pocket before you get in there, land some damage, and catch them staggering. So Dustin versus Connor, this is a very consistent battle that we see here now in ESFL, and these boys about to get it on and bring us some good old MMA action.
We'll say once again, Heavy Hands with that experience being behind the scenes, running Showtime MMA. It's a guy who has, been on both sides of the coin. I think that only helps him, right? It only helps him with his sort of game when you are almost the teacher, almost the guy pulling the strings. I've heard many times that when you do that coaching side of things, when you are maybe not the one competing, it only assists you. Let's see, Eve Levine getting us started.
Yeah, you can do it. There's a little bit of delay, but they touch up some gloves, and he makes the switch into orthodox. Dustin does have a pretty solid switch stance stat, but I don't know if you really want to make the decision to switch stances. Before I say that, what he did there was switch the stances to orthodox, and when you switch the stances to orthodox and shoot on a southpaw opponent, you invert the defense for that single leg, and that's a really clever way to get the opponent down to the ground there, babe.
Absolutely. McGregor did regain the half guard, but you can see the Louisiana now posturing up to deliver some ground and pound action. And he chooses to stand. Interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's much of a... It's pretty interesting that you take your opponent down and just try to get up. Seems to be a bit of a heavy delay here, though, on my end. I don't know if that's the same for you, Bane.
I am definitely watching in slow motion right now.
I know you're just
but we'll
like
see. Maybe
but we're not in the Matrix, bro.
two things potentially, right? That takedown could have been an early sign of just, hey, I can get you to the mat. You better watch out for the level change. Or it could have been a recognition of the delay, right? I know that the grappling realm of UFC 4 is heavily impacted when there is ping issues, delays, slight lags. I know that a lot of people don't really like to transition or do anything on the mat if it is in that sort of unfortunate side of the realm.
Yeah, but right now, I guess it's kind of stabilizing. He's throwing hands. Heavy Hands is throwing some blitz combo, throwing jab straight, cross, rear hook, and gets caught by a rear uppercut by Chazman. Good slip straight, just out of range. See, the issue that people tend to have is that on UFC 3, that hook would have just slid forward for him. You got to press forward on the left stick after you throw a slip straight if you want to cover that range and land that lead hook. That could have led to a drop for Chazman. But it seems like Chazman is doing the right things, winning most of the damage exchanges. Heavy Hands is trying to go to the body, but gets fed a knee up the midsection. I'd say right now, when it comes to damage, Chazman is definitely winning that battle, Ben.
You know, you can see Heavy Hands with a lot of looping strikes, right? He's trying to throw these hooks, misses right there. I've seen Chaz throw a lot straight, right? He's doing the 1-2s. He's fighting again at that range a little bit and utilizing the left hand. It doesn't seem that Heavy Hands is playing Poirier the way that you need to in order to succeed. Massive rear uppercut lands on the Louisianan.
and you can see that the way his head snapped back, it's just a huge tell that his head off is low, and you got to make the decision there, right? If you're heavy hands here, you got to know when you want to stay in the pocket. But did I say that? Oh, a nice little slip hook, dodging the slip straight, and he body rock Chazman. Holy smokes, he just changed the whole narrative of the fight with one counter, and with that, he puts himself in the lead. So, heavy hands, he has to recognize, you won this round. The onus is on your opponent now to try making any changes. So stand your ground. Don't concede anything a little bit too much, but recognize you have just massively put yourself at a significant lead here.
Heavy hands really living up to the name in this one, and you can see that was sort of when he became the aggressor, when he was the one pushing forward, leading the dances, when he had the most success. Still sitting in that orthodox through 4 minutes. I'm surprised that he hasn't at least gone southpaw. Maybe he likes the tools that are available to him when both fighters have their bodies sort of cheated out, open on one another.
Yeah, the open stance matters a lot. When it's open stance, the rear hand strikes tend to land a little bit better. When you're in open stance, right, if you're the orthodox fighter going against a southpaw fighter, the lead body hook actually lands a little bit better and actually has a little bit of damage. So for all the talk that people talk about the southpaw body kick, that is an advantage that the orthodox player has when switching to southpaw. We saw it happen. You know, we saw the knockdown, we saw the body rock. Now it seems like Chazman's trying to change the strategy, go for kicks. Nice, beautiful little push into the kick. Tries to go for a lead body kick, high kick feint. And I like that these guys are letting it fly. That's a great first round. Greater first round for heavy hands, but Chazman is very much alive and well in this fight. Got 2 rounds to go with some heavy hitters.
Chazman absolutely has the equalizer in the left of McGregor. The dynamite that are in those gloves could put the Louisianan away for good. But, I mean, that's that hot sauce that Poirier brings right in that first round. We'll see if it continues in the second. Bit of an exchange early.
Yeah, so right now, Chazman's using the long ranger strikes, just as you were alluding to, right? Doing the jab crosses, trying to set up going high, going low, now throwing in his own calf kicks. And now what he's trying to do is, all right, I lost that first round. Let me try to change up the strategy and land a little bit of damage, but don't get too passive, because if heavy hands starts to pick up on that, he's going to be in some danger. Beautiful cross, head back of heavy hands. Another cross, and the head up is getting low again for heavy hands. And now Chazman has picked up a strike advantage definitely in this round. Another well-timed leg kick as heavy hand goes for takedown. But just as that off the leg kick, gets him down, but unable to hold him in the position he wanted. Is able to deny transition, but goes for the anaconda. Denied. Probably would have been ready to go for the Peruvian necktie. Now in this position here, I don't know if Chazman has access to getting up from sprawl. Does not have the super speed boost up. Now they're over in full guard. And if I'm Chazman, I'm looking to try and get a flip or a reversal here. Reversal score a good amount. Uses the little hip bump. Unable to. Heavy hands postures up. And elects him up again, I guess. I guess he was trying to get some control time, but you don't get any control time in full guard. But hey, at least a takedown scored. And now
exactly.
He's letting his hands go.
And that's, it's maybe a mentality thing, right? Holding him down, even if he's in the full guard, you're posturing up, landing a quick 2-punch combination. It's something to put in the mind of Chazman, but that is an uppercut right to the dome of heavy hands. 2 minutes and 30 seconds remain in this second round. Big miss right there from Poirier.
Yeah, he's trying to utilize his lead leg kick feint into the body kick. And you see Chazman now, he's trying to take away the body kick range by now crowding him. And look at the, wow! Oh! For the flying armbar off the single collar clinch. I haven't seen that in a while. Wow. I like that, this is how you open up, you're trying to make an impression. There's one thing to win, but when you're winning and you're able to just let it loose and have fly, you're gonna make yourself a beloved individual on ESFL. Goes for the flying knee, unable to do so. Beautiful leg kick there from Chazman, but I feel like the tide is shifting here, Bane.
It definitely is, and you can see Chaz is the one that's been pushing the majority of this round, starting the exchanges and ending them. Heavy hands, maybe looking to counter a little bit more than he did in the first round, which is an interesting decision to me. Now he goes back to southpaw. We'll see if that helps him here. Got to stay in the pocket with those looping shots, in my opinion. Chazman opens up the combination right there.
Yeah, and Chazman, what he's done is that he's punished all of Heavy Hands' lazy entries from a distance with those set kicks. So now he forced Heavy Hands to go southpaw, and maybe it's not even a strategic thing why he was an orthodox in first place. Maybe he can't strike as well from southpaw for some reason. And that seems to be the case here, because now he's struggling. And not just as I say that, goes back into orthodox. I guess he's thinking, you know what, this is worth the risk. Gonna try to crowd the kicks with punches, exactly what you're supposed to do. Tries to go for an outside slip into the uppercut. Needs to start blasting combinations here. The stamina is low. Tries to go for the body kick, lead hook cross, lands off of Chazman. Chazman is doing some work with the kicks. And with 4 seconds left, oh my God.
Whoa.
Wow, what a 6-piece. So, man, I think with the amount of damage there at the end of the round that Chazman was able to do, it's 1-1 heading into this third round, man.
Completely agree. Through 10 minutes, very closely contested. It all comes down to this third and final round, but it's some gamesmanship right there from Heavy Hands. This is for a spot on the roster. The stakes could not be higher. Heavy Hands needs to make the tactical adjustments that Chazman appeared to make in that second round. Block the line.
Oh, wow. And you could not. Why? But he gets the reversal, flips him over. Oh, why did he not go for the armbar from there? That's just, I don't know why.
Oh.
This was a good point. But here. Wow. And just like that. But you have to realize, he's down on the scorecards. He got knocked down. He did do some damage from that mount position, but there's 4 minutes left. Heavy Hands needs to either get to Neon Belly or past the guard of Chazman. If he wants to do anything to win this round, maybe he might let's try and get up here. But that taunt went pretty, oh man, and he got flipped by McGregor too. But he
and
ooh.
Will we be able to see this again? The lag is announcing itself once again, but a twister attempt midway through the third round. Heavy Hands trying to tap out McGregor in insane fashion. Does not seem like the tracking is there for him.
Yeah, it just seems like this random spike lag just kind of hurt both guys here. Like, he's trying to attack with the submission, and it just kind of hurt. I guess he's realizing it's not even worth going for at this rate because that lag spike really did some damage for him. So I guess if I was him, I'd go for the Kimura, but instead of going for that, tries to go to guard. Not exactly the most strategic decision, but hey, Chazman elects to get back up. I don't know if I like that decision, because I do think he definitely did enough to win the round there with that knockdown. And we'll see soon enough. And look at that. The gamesmanship, as you said, still taunting. And he might be down on this fight here, Bane.
He could be trying to maybe draw the reactions out of Chazman, make him angry, make him frustrated by getting in his face and sort of annoying him. And once again, the flying armbar not there. Now the leg is compromised. McGregor pushing forward.
Yeah, and that leg being compromised there, he has to stay in the pocket now. He can't afford to give the space, and this is why you got to be smart with who you're taunting. I mean, now he's making the right adjustment with planting right in front of him, letting loose these boxing combinations. Ooh. But his head off is low. He's got to forget about the leg, and he's still switching back. He's not comfortable from southpaw, brother. He's not comfortable with Dustin in southpaw, and Chazman knows it. He's won this round, and he is going to play the circle game. And a lot of people don't realize when you can use these circling leg kicks and these circling strikes, you can keep yourself away from harm's way. Beautiful pull elbow and a lead hook. Knock down Heavy Hands. Talk about heavy elbows and Heavy Hands. Able to frame out there. He needs to go for a last-ditch effort, Kimura, and he does, but it gets
not there.
Maybe could have gone for the armbar, and I think it might be all she wrote here. But hey, is he going to try to go for it again? He does. Should have went for another submission. You only have 50-something seconds left here, man.
The window for a submission is closed. He needs to get back to the feet. The urgency has to be there for Heavy Hands. Chazman, this fight was close until it sort of wasn't. Now pretzeling his way into that side control. Notorious looking pretty adept on the mat. Lands a short elbow on the inside to the dome of Poirier. Man, if you're a Heavy Hands, you gotta think this is do or die in the last 20 seconds. Oh!
So close, but the stamina was just too low on that pull counter.
Ah.
The leg are also done, so all his damage is all out the window. Doesn't have much there. And Chazman gives him a taste of his own medicine with a taunt. And I think what really did him in, if you're going to fight on the ESFL and you want to prove yourself as a top-level competitor, you got to be able to fight from both stances. You can't just be only good from Orthodox, and that's not even your fighter's stance. You feel me?
Exactly.
It was going well, and it wasn't.
And you have to think, the adjustments that Chazman made in the second set of 5 minutes with the leg kicks was a beautiful one. Really proved why he is on the proving grounds today, because that's a smart move, right? You look at the first 5 minutes, you get the knockdown, and you're thinking, I got to really make an adjustment. I got to switch up the game plan, go to B from plan A, and that's exactly what he did, and that's what led to getting the hand raised tonight. Wonderful performance by Chazman. Welcome to the ESFL.
Well done, Chazman. That's some veteran savvy level stuff that you did there with them leg kicks. I love me some good leg kicks. Y'all know that. It was you can learn a lot from that when you can see somebody's game plan starts to fall apart. And what you see with Heavy Hands is that as the game plan starts to fall apart, wait, are these best of threes? Oh,
Slight rule. Oops.
wow.
Well, we're going in. Heavy Hands now can fight his way back in. Romero and I momentarily forgetting the concept of proving grounds. So now this is an interesting conversation, though, Romero. You are down a round. This could potentially be the ESFL door shutting in your face. Heavy Hands has to make something happen with poor EA.
Yeah, and the thing is, what he has to hope for, he doesn't put himself in a position where this game is very well known for some random spikes of vulnerability that make no sense, and it can cost you. And you don't want to be on the receiving end of that. And if I'm Heavy Hands here, don't allow your opponent to kick you. You have to pressure. You have to take away those kicks. Just as I say that, you see Chazman already with the body kick, creating space, establishing the distance. Beautiful chain of the strikes there with the lead leg kick to the rear cross, then going to the body hook. And Heavy Hands is now punching the air a little bit. He's kind of frustrated. He wants to close his range. And that's a mistake a lot of players make. They reach with their hands instead of using their feet to close that set distance. Lands a little cheeky knee up the middle. Forces Chazman to whiff on that kick, but instead of punching, elects the little whiff to handle out. So Bane, I think he's trying to make a statement here using Dustin, saying, I could beat you with Dustin too.
I think the gamesmanship and the taunting from Heavy Hands onto Chazman made Chazman a little frustrated. Now he's going to give him more of a taste of his own medicine, right? And you can see now Chazman understands there is a leg kick deficiency, right? Heavy Hands has a hard time checking those kicks. He's thrown many within the first 90 seconds of this fight. Heavy Hands doing the right thing, though, trying to suffocate, get in the phone booth, limit the ability to throw those kicks.
Yeah, and he's actually checked out, I think, 1 or 2 kicks so far. You can see the right leg of Chazman's now. Good cheeky front kick up the middle, disguising that extremely well. Setting up those kicks extremely well. When you're blocking high and somebody kicks you, if you can't bring that low block fast enough, you're taking that damage whether you like it or not. And what you got to know is what both fighters haven't noticed yet. I think they're so expecting, it's a beautiful pull counter, pulling the second strike there. And the first strike is right over the check. And now, just like that, I think that's the benefit of the best of 3, right? You see one strategy where you can make the adjustment for the next one, but right there, Heavy Hands. He overcommitted the second strike one more time. He is hurt.
Look at this!
What an exchange here! And he gets flipped over. Chazman go for a submission here. No, tries to go for the finish. Finish the fight, mount armbar. Will he get the submission? I don't think so, Bane, but holy hell, what a sequence.
Chaz canceled that one. Absolutely insane. Through 4 minutes, Chazman tasting the canvas, but each guy doing some great work now, some ground and pound onto Heavy Hands.
And this is the worst position. Mount is a terrible. If you've ever done jiu-jitsu before, you do not want to be in mount at all. It's just, if it's MMA training, like you don't even want to be passively like having to deal with strikes there. So Heavy Hands is in a situation where, like, damn, this close to finishing this fight, I got flipped. And now Chazman seems to be the superior grappler here, working his opponent from side control. That's a very close round. I think I still could kind of edge it towards Heavy Hands unless Chazman decides to go for a submission here. Doesn't try to go for it. Tries to go for a back kick here. Gets him in back mount.
Flattens him out. This is bad for Heavy Hands.
Terrible, man. It's able to go back into sub-mount. But this ground and pound is not going to be kind to the long-term head of Heavy Hands. And he is in a lot of danger. And I don't know if that could have edged around the Chazman, but this is a close round.
That is definitely a bad impression to leave the judges if you are Heavy Hands. Yes, you scored the knockdown, but then you spent the rest of the round getting controlled and absolutely washed out from that top mount position. But good work right on the feet. Heavy Hands definitely show that he is maybe learning and getting the reads down on Chazman better than he did in the first fight. So to the point of the best of 3, Heavy Hands, you can see the gears working, but still displaying when it hits the mat. The grappling is largely in Chazman's favor.
Yeah, for sure. And I think now that Chazman knows that he's the better grappler, I guess the takedown threat doesn't really exist for him anymore, right? And that's one thing. You don't want to get taken down if you know the guy's a better takedown artist than you. But if you're better off your back than he is on top, then you're chilling. But good body kick there, trying to punish the pulls of Chazman. And watch that, what Heavy Hands is trying to do. He's either trying to force these circling strikes or a circling counter against the straight strikes of Chazman. And now Chazman's made that read, throwing his own looping hook. Still going for these leg kicks, but now He's making adjustments.
Oh!
Good slip straight. Not a lot happens there. Again, he's an orthodox again, and that's what's hurting him in these exchanges. It's harder to win these exchanges when you're in the opposite stance. He had a moment of glory there, but the legs are not getting chopped down.
Chazman through 7 minutes, has 37 strikes. Heavy hands, 26, 11 strike differential in the favor of Chazman. That makes sense with all that ground and pound. Phenomenal sprawl, though, from Heavy Hands.
Really good sprawl. Does a smart decision of not taking the chance that if his opponent uses that sped up transition there, he can get up a little bit faster, put him up against the cage. Don't want to be there. Tries to use the push into the lead body kick, unable to do so with. Uses the retreat, puts himself up against the cage. You don't want to do that. That's the one risk about using the retreat if you're not in the proper range. And Chazman is now pressuring.
Oh!
Pretty good orthodox style from Heavy Hand. Tries to get that body kick. And that was just nice work there to land some significant body damage. Angling off with the body hooks, using those beautiful steps there. And it's, oh, but Chazman, I say that. Heavy Hands.
Chazman! Looking to put Heavy Hands out right here, right now!
And he read the pattern really well with what Heavy Hands is doing, you know, throwing. The moment he low blocked, he went for the high kick, right? And that was what I like, because not only this fight, but from the previous fight. He's like, oh, he might kick me again. And just let's say that.
Oh.
Going for a submission. He might get it here. He's at
close.
Heavy. Oh, man, Heavy Hands is going to feel a heavy sore arm tomorrow. With this arm bar, it is hurting, and he's almost out. But this is not where you want to be. He's got to try to get that elbow down back into the mat, because if Chazman's able to extend his arm,
this could be it. This looks like it's it.
Up that quad, and that fight is over. Chazman, again.
Wow.
Dealt with adversity and then some, but comes back, proves himself to be better all around, and he's earned his spot. Like, this is a well-earned spot, because it wasn't just one thing. And beat him with Heavy Hands' his own guy that he tried to use in the first place. Submitted him with his own guy.
Pitching a shutout, truly. And as you said, right, displaying everywhere the fight goes, he's competent and he's able to deal with adversity. That finishing sequence, unpacking it, came from Heavy Hands, stunning Chazman, momentarily backing him up. Chazman then responds with a massive head kick of his own, gets the fight down via some strikes, pressing Heavy Hands up against the cage, and just swarming him at the end there with that beautiful armbar submission. Now we can say, Romero, welcome to the UFC to Chazman.
Yeah, welcome to the ESFL UFC.
ESFL.
Man, you know, that AK camp, I know they're disbanded, but he definitely showed some pretty nice tricks there. And it was really clean. Like, that fight was pretty good. You know, I like seeing them open up using the pushes, the retreats, using the circling strikes, and trying to chain the slips into other slips. Really well done. But next up, we got PeaceMihai War. I guess the War camp is what it is, right? I see a lot of war at the end of these guys' name, right? Right?
It's either it's a very funny coincidence, or yes, I believe the Warriors is what they are. And that's, I mean, whenever you dub yourself the Warrior, I have to anticipate you're going to be coming into the octagon with something to prove, aggression in the veins, fueling the strikes. But against a guy like Rock Roman, once again, a former ESFL fighter, trying to fight his way back. He's known within the community, and we all know Romero, he puts on a show. Rock Roman is a guy to watch.
He's a guy to watch. He's somebody that I've competed against and I beat. And I know his weaknesses extremely well. And you got to see Mihai, maybe if you watch back the tape and see what I did, and I'm just going to maybe try to replicate that same game plan against Rock Roman, because a lot of times when you see weaknesses in previous footage, some people can claim to have evolved, but it can still have those same deficiencies. Rock Roman, on the other hand, maybe he is a completely different fighter. Maybe he has been working harder and getting in the lab to get back to that ESFL spot, and he's not having the same weaknesses that he showed against me. So I don't know much about Mihai War, but I know plenty about Rock Roman. He's a veteran, not just only since UFC 3, but since UFC 2. And this is you might have to say do or die situation for him, or otherwise he's going to be on the athlete leagues for a while. And we're going to see Leon Edwards versus Senor Three-Piece with a Soda, Masvidal, in the octagon today. Good picks, good picks.
Game bred. Gamebred versus Rocky. Of course, Edwards being the southpaw, Masvidal, the orthodox kickboxer. Have to look at the stand-ups. The statistics seem to be edging in Jorge Masvidal's favor, right? He's got the speed. He's got the power. Edwards has a slight edge in accuracy, but where Rocky really shines is when it hits the ground. He does have a significant advantage, at least attributes-wise, when the fight goes to the canvas. Miragliotta getting us started for the second fight of the Proving Grounds.
Well, I'd say Edwards did get a pretty significant buff to his cardio and his move level for his group. I think there's enough pressure on the feet as well. That makes Edwards a really good duel. I believe both gentlemen are able to hit turning takedowns from both takedown options. That's always going to be a threat. Beautiful skill from Rock Roman, but gets punished by a leg kick right after. Mihai War is taking a different approach. Very subtle going for combinations, and he's waiting for Rock Roman to commit on a strike. There was an off-tempo head kick. Really good attempt there to try to keep him honest. Fakes the takedown. Not in range for real, but I think it was a fake. Rock Roman's kind of pressure. And what Rock Roman's issue is if he waits too long for his opponent, instead of putting on his own pressure, waiting too much on what the other guy's doing instead of setting your own pace. So right now we're just playing a little bit of tit for tat, almost a little bit like a sparring section. Right? You go, I go, you go, I go. But not a lot has been done there. Good cross from Rock Roman.
Big one too. That's the problem if you are waiting, right? If you are being patient playing the chess match game, when your opponent does to turn things up a notch, you could get clipped right there. Masvidal landing effectively. Edwards now catches the kick, returns with a big one, partially lands on the left side of the temple of Rock Roman. You know, that's a strike he's done several times is throwing the head kick inside the pocket. Not sure if I would really advise that. Opens yourself up for so much risk, but beautiful head movement into some combinations from PeaceMihai.
Yeah, great combination there. Rock Roman got a little bit easier, I can tell, because he moved back on the uppercut counter where Mihai War went to the body. Look at that. Rock Roman's already showing that he doesn't like that space that Mihai's giving him, and he was almost prone to getting his head kicked off there. Rock Roman now edging to Matt, tries to go for a takedown, but it gets spun out of the way. And these exchanges, the game scores damage most of all. Mihai War gets the takedown, and I think he's won a little bit more exchanges than Roman has here. So now, whenever the game is close in striking exchanges, the second criteria that gets reached is grappling. So with him getting that takedown, now passing the guard and getting into side control, this is a really good scoring position, landing good elbows from the ground and pound. Rock Roman has a lot he has to worry about here.
One thing we know about PeaceMihai War is the submissions that he's got inside the arsenal, right? Rocky Edwards more of a kickboxer, but he could easily slap one in from any of these positions. 60 seconds remain. Now Edwards posturing up. PeaceMihai really controlling the ending portion of this first round, right? We were talking about the close contention that it was for the first few minutes, but Rock Roman now unable to get back to the feet, dropping this round, in my opinion, on the judges' scorecard.
Yeah, for sure. And this is what Leon Edwards actually does, you know? Like, he was able to control Nate Diaz relatively easy. He was able to work RDA pretty well. You know, that was a very good grappling concept when they hit the mat. And that's one of the greatest improvements that Leon Edwards has here. And he's being very selective with his ground and pound, posturing up, landing a couple strikes here, working the body. Leon Edwards, the tactical surgeon that he is, and Lil Rocky. Now he's letting his hands go. That's an easy round one.
Mavs with the transition after the bell gets the reversal once the action concluded for that first one. And you could see, right, mixing it up is what PeaceMihai was really displaying. Throwing a lot of large strikes inside the pocket, but at that middle range, also making it work effectively. I like the going high, going low conversation that he's been starting, really giving Rock Roman too much to think about. Whenever you overload your opponent, you give them too much data, they're not able to make the reads to find the counters as easily. And so the unpredictability in this second round is what I'm anticipating from PeaceMihai.
Yeah, paralysis by analysis is a real thing, and it happens for the best of us. It's happened myself a few times, other people. It's very comfortable. But now Rock Roman looking to switch it up, tries to go for the little suplex takedown from there. Gets denied by Mihai War, which is pretty tough to deny. Well done by Rock Roman. Now working on a little psycho back slip. And that great veteran stuff from Rock Roman here to switch it up into the grappling, not putting him on the feet here. Mihai get that position. No intervening backside here. If I'm Rock Roman here, I'm going to try to look at control for about 45 seconds. Toss you up. Don't commit too hard on the strike. You're in the top position here. The onus is on your opponent to move. Now he's up against the cage. Don't allow him to use that cage get up to get back into the midst of collar. Good ground and pound, but he likes to get up here.
Big combination right there in the pocket from Rock Roman, really finding the chin at that range. And you could see right through 7 minutes, that's where Rock Roman wants to be. He wants to be standing inches away from PeaceMihai War. That's where he feels the most comfortable, best work. But PeaceMihai now landing inside the pocket.
Oh, well done, head kick.
Look at this.
Rock Roman with the head kick adjustment. That's something I thought he was going to get caught with. He throws a head kick, and now he turns and gets a slip hook.
What's it?
There's the rear hook. Man, they were going nuts with these flurries, with these punches. Rock Roman now, let's see if Mihai is able to keep his composure, because now he was the one that was dominating the striking exchanges. And now Rock Roman is capitalizing on him. Oh, but now he's fishing for these pull counters. Rock Roman has to be careful staying in the pocket here, because now Mihai's the one that's down on the scorecards here in terms of this specific round, in terms of damage. We got ourselves a fight here.
2 minutes remain in this second round. PeaceMihai turning things up. You can see maybe throwing with a bit more reckless abandon, trying to just get that one back. But Rock Roman finding the chin once again. Massive front kick, though.
Just like that, the tide is shifted. It seems that Rock Roman had just had the inability to read that his opponent just keeps throwing that uppercut as the third strike after he throws that rear hook. I've seen it happen 3-4 times already, and instead of slip straighting, that doesn't elect to do so. Just when it looked like it could have been a Rock Roman round, he ends up sacrificing position, gets knocked down, is able to reverse and get into the full guard, but not a lot can happen here. It's gonna, change the tune on the judges' scorecards. And it's just, that's just how it goes, right? Just takes one half second of that, 1/2 second of mistakes here. And a triangle choke attempt from PeaceMihai War. And there's 38 seconds left here. Is he gonna get
the escape? Escape bar definitely climbing significantly faster. Goes for the chain, probably just looking for the control time to conclude this second round. Rock Roman doesn't have a lot of stamina, so this was a good idea by PeaceMihai War, right? Just tossing it up, giving Rock Roman something to think about. We'll say as we approach the final 5 minutes, this fight was brought to you by XV Combo XV. Massive thank you for the subscription.
Good old combo, wombo combo. Rock Roman, that's the thing. You have to be consistent for the entirety of these 5 virtual minutes. Right? You can have a perfect 4 minutes of this, this accelerated clock, right? I mean, that head kick scored pretty good, and then he got another rock as well, but he got knocked down. And he was doing really well until he just had that mental lapse, and you have to be able to be consistent throughout that time period. For Rock Roman, he's looking at a situation where he might be down 2-0 here, and he has to try to get a finish and can't give up anything. Good slip hook action with PeaceMihai War, and Rock Roman has to recognize that the third strike that his opponent is throwing is a straight strike, and that is the perfect time to counter his opponent.
It's a massive head kick for Rock Roman.
Oh, man. That is busted. That is so busted.
What a dog. PeaceMihai War is stunned, wobbling, throwing the rear elbow, catching Masvidal. Gamebreak now pushing forward again. Rock Roman could be down. This is a very urgent Rock Roman that we're seeing. 83 strikes for Edwards, 73 for Masvidal, 10 strike differential in favor of PeaceMihai War.
Wow, what head movement. And that's the thing, when you know you're down on the scorecard. I say this all the time. Look, if you're down by 1 or you're down by 2, you're down, right? Like, if you lose by decision, you lose by knockout, doesn't matter. You're going to lose anyway, so you might as well just throw the entire kitchen sink out there. And this is just, wow. I'm still kind of blown by that Rock elbow, still doing that much damage while he was hurt and wobbly. And it completely flipped the tide of this fight. But now you see Mihai is fishing for it, right? And Rock Roman's doing a real good job. A beautiful preemptive slip counter from PeaceMihai against the lead front kick, and now he gets the side control. Beautiful. Not a lot of people have been doing that lately. I'm very happy to see people doing that. But just as I say that, gets reversed on the ground. But Rock Roman needs to get up. You can't be grappling. You got 2 minutes left to work here, brother. You got to get up. You don't want to be in this guard.
Masvidal clearly. Maz definitely went to jiu-jitsu class this week. Beautiful reversal. Now he does stand. Romero right on that one. 2 minutes remaining in this fight through 13. Has been closely contested. But again, PeaceMihai War has just had more significant moments. Likely up. Needs a finish. Rock Roman eats a clean left hand right there from Edwards.
And one thing that Rock Roman's not noticing, like the exact same counter that Mihai's doing to him, he could do it right back, right? Like you see.
Wow, that is it. Silenced is Rock Roman. PeaceMihai War moves 1-0 against Masvidal. Beautiful finish right there. The uppercut from Hal Romero.
Yeah, and you see, Rock Roman, it feels like he's limiting himself because he's just refusing to do the same counters that Mihai's doing to him. Mihai, you know, he's fishing for that pull counter, and he got the flash KO. Credit to Rock Roman bringing it. By no means was he fully out of this fight. You know, he has his chance to make his adjustments here. That was just really well done from PeaceMihai War, and I love that preemptive slip. I said this a lot in my streams, and I say this a lot in like some of my fights. There are certain strikes that can only be thrown after a specific strike is thrown. If you throw a lead high kick and it lands on the block, the only thing your opponent can throw is a straight. If somebody throws a lead front kick, the only thing they can throw right after that is a cross, right? A lead front kick to the face, excuse me. It's a cross, so you can always slip it right after. Now, making adjustments here, Rock Roman's going for Vicente Luque, who has some pretty solid health stats. Mihai War is electing to stay with Leon Edwards. And let's see if Rock Roman can come from the brink of death and try to get that ESFL spot again.
Back is against the wall for Rock Roman, displayed through the 14 minutes of that first one that he does have that mentality to get there in the trenches and make it happen, but he just needs to be a little bit more cognizant of how reckless he's being. He exposed himself and took a lot of risks in that third round, and that's what ultimately led to the finish. Let's see if we can have a more patient Rock Roman in this one. Big start for both guys.
That's a good adjustment I'm seeing from Rock Roman going to the body, right? When you have somebody constantly moving their head a lot, the torso is available, the legs are available, right? So if you see your opponent starting to pull, you want to catch them on that little beat that they have when they want to move their head. You want to catch them to the body, you want to catch them to the legs, and that's how you're going to land some good damage. So if I'm Rock Roman, good, beautiful leg kick there, right? Every time you're going to make Mihai think you're going to go up. Oh, there it is. Almost got pull counted again. Oh, man. Elbow hit the body. And look at that. Oh, he rocked Mihai War. Oh, man.
I'm loving the tactical adjustment of the pressure through the first 90 seconds. You can see Rock Roman is cutting off the cage, isolating PeaceMihai War to great degree, but, you know, it just is still being a little bit reckless, right? Those pull counters, he's seen them in the first fight, but hasn't been able to make the adjustments effectively. Big whiff right there from Rock Roman. Little change from Edwards. PeaceMihai War takes it to the ground the first time in this match.
Yeah, and Rock Roman either tried to pre-deny a turn that didn't happen yet, and that's why he got punished with that animation. But, you know, he just has that success. You know, he has the damage success there, but he's still, the one read that he hasn't made is that third strike from PeaceMihai War. Almost always a slipping strike. So if you slip hook somebody there, you full maybe slip elbow somebody there, every single time that he goes for it, it's an open thing, and I'm surprised that he hasn't made that adjustment there yet. So Mihai War, you know, similar story, right? He gets top position, he's going to be able to control him a little bit. Rock Roman doing a much better job off his back, forcing Mihai to just let him up. But Rock Roman's got to change up the strike selection if he wants to get this ESFL spot here.
We'll say Vicente Luque, right? Very accredited when the fight does hit the mat. The Darce Knight is the silent assassin, apparently. So, you know, PeaceMihai War might be thinking about that, right? The submission threat is a little bit higher in this match than it might have been with the Masvidal.
See, yeah, it might be a little bit higher, but it also comes down to the player, right? You can be the best. You can have Brian Ortega, but if you're 12 years old and you don't know how to work the submission game, you're not really much of a submission threat at all. But just let's say that, you know, Rock Roman gets reversal to full guard, you know, that scores a little bit, you know, punishes the takedown a little bit there. But he's got to advance. He's got to be able to pass you, get to half, or get to posture up, land some damaging strikes, and really try to solidify this round for yourself. Don't let PeaceMihai War up here and allow him to get a chance to land some damage. And Mihai War showing some of that accredited UK-style jiu-jitsu there, reversing Vicente Luque, the jiu-jitsu black belt, mounts the black belt.
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about. It's about the player when it comes to grappling at times. Now able to pass into side saddle. You definitely don't want to be here in this game or in real life. 15 seconds left. Seems like history is repeating itself. And Mihai War is, I think, you know, he got rocked and whatnot, but this control time and the damage he's done, it makes this round close. I still edge it towards Rock Roman, but it's close.
It's It's very apparent that the better man behind the sticks when it hits the mat is PeaceMihai War. And, you know, that's sort of what we anticipate from a guy who is the embodiment of hard work, a guy who grinds to know the game ins and outs of it. I'd anticipate that he would have this edge. And again, he is a finalist of their internal tournament. This guy is very, very good, and he's displaying that through 14 minutes.
There's the body work again from Rock Roman. Now he's able to not take down. If I'm Rock Roman, take him to the cage. Smart move, smart move. Good knees to the body. You don't want to let your opponent do that there. And Alexis sacrifices the position and lets him up here.
Oh.
Rock Roman needs to keep targeting the body, but just as I say that, he actually ends up going out high. Oh. To the head, rocks him one more time. Oh my. Oh, nuggets. Oh my God.
Shit.
What
And the right now.
Oh, armbar. Why would you go for the sweep? Oh my God, blowing minds. And guys, go to backside.
Every time Rock Roman stuns PeaceMihai War, he gets overzealous and exposes himself, and then the entire momentum swings back to PeaceMihai War. Rock Roman really needs to look at how he approaches finishing the fights, right? When he smells blood in the water, going in for the kill, every single time without fail, it's cost him severely. 2 minutes into round 2, PeaceMihai War posturing up, landing some vicious ground and pound.
Yeah, Mahai War, what he did there, instead of tripling up to the body, he actually went 2 strikes to the body and then used the 3rd strike to come up top to the head, punish the body counter of Rock Roman by attacking the head first before he could let that uppercut off, and then just let loose a hellacious combo that just sat down Rock Roman. And in Rock Roman, you know, he had that free transition that he could have gone for, and he didn't go for a submission. Like, you have a Sensei Luke, that's where, you know, you want to play with the stats, you want to choose the jiu-jitsu specialist here, go for the armbar, and that would have been an easy armbar there, but now he's dealing with the top pressure of Leon Edwards. Gets denied, and you don't want to be here. Man is able to deny the side saddle armbar. I don't know if he's going to go for the dart choke here. But Mahai War, you know, it's the same thing, just as you said, Bane. Establishes the lead, but fumbles it just seconds after.
And definitely a conversation when you talk about who belongs in the ESFL and who doesn't. You want the most well-rounded guys. You want people who, when they have their opponents stunned, take their time and find the finish and let it manifest naturally. They don't force the action. You know, this is... I can't say there's still 6 minutes left in this fight, right? Who knows what's going to happen, but it seems to be PeaceMihai War is the better combatant in the cage than...
I don't know how good Rock Roman's sub offense is. Doesn't seem like he's not going to get this Kimura, but it is going to help the control time in his favor, so that can help somewhat to an extent. But the one thing I like that I saw PeaceMihai doing in half guard, right? He faked the guard like he was going to get up, like he faked pulling back on the leg and then reestablish back into half guard, right? And that's a good little fake if you want to get your opponent to bite on that transition, so they can end up passing guard. And Rock Roman, you know, continues going that submission, is able to reverse him and points there. Not enough time to make anything happen, but good defensive work from Rock Roman there. So now you're in a situation, right? You've seen this game before. You know how this game works. The round 1 was close. Round 2, I'd argue that's clearly my highest round, right? But that round 1 was really close. If you're Rock Roman, you still got it. You're in a situation where you don't even want to lose a split decision here. You're the one that's down here. Mahai doesn't really have to take the risk here.
5 minutes to determine whether or not Rock Roman will find himself back in the ESFL, or if PeaceMihai can punch his way through. The UFL veteran now making big waves in at least today's event. I've been very impressed with the patience and PeaceMihai's ability to reverse the tables, right? Turn him around when he is stunned.
Oh my God, switch style.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, yeah. He just baited out that cross so well. He baited out that cross so well. I mean, there's a stamina advantage here for Rock Roman, but he's a little bit too far off. Don't think he's going to get this Kimura. I think the armbar just would have been a stronger choice. It doesn't seem like he's doing work on his submission defense too much. He's playing to the rhythm of Mahai War. Mahai War knows when I do A, B, or C, right, this is what my opponent is likely to do. And it's a high percentage when he's going against Rock Roman. So now Rock Roman takes the back here. You need one denial, and then you can go for this armbar. Because I'm assuming this is ESFL rules. No, but it likes to give up the back. He wants to try and go for the knockout. He's been very susceptible to this pull counter every single time that Mahai goes for it. And that's where he should be timing his front kick, or he should be timing his head kick. As I say that, he gets the head kick. He rocks him. And wow.
Really whiffed on all the follow-up strikes. Rock Roman, that head kick has been money for him, but more often than not, unable to capitalize on those moments. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The desperation is setting into the blue corner. Big switch kick to the midsection right there. Lands on Edwards once again. Brutalized in the midsection. Now pushes PeaceMihai War back.
Man, his little slip straight lead overhand. It's a very fast combo. It's a combo that I thought got fixed, but Mihai's using it for good effect here. Oh, pull elbow from Rock Roman. Tries to go for the head kick. Oh, look at that. Tries to jab and then bait out the slip straight, then trying to do a slip hook. I see you, PeaceMihai. I see you, Mihai War. I know what you're trying to do here. Now coming up a takedown, and Rock Roman gets taken down. And just when you think that's right. I mean, he's getting a sprawl. Do you think Mihai War's going to get up here? Probably not, right? No, he's going to control it. I think he might just control his way here to the decision.
Luque does power up a little bit, needs to break the grip on the hands. Edwards trying to go into that backpack position. 65 seconds remain in this fight. This is not where Rock Roman wants to be. A single minute can force him out of the ESFL.
Right now, he has to punish. You know, he's going for that pull elbow. He has to be aware that that slip straight lead overhand is going to punish him. He's got to catch him. See that third strike is always straight strike, but ducks. Catch him with a duck. He needs a flash KO. Gets caught overcommitting to the head once again. He needs to try to pull counter his pull counter if he wants to get a victory here. Because it's 15 seconds left. You might as well go for broke. Tries to go for a Hail Mary head kick. Unable to get it. Pulls away from the front kick. Good on his part, but doesn't counter from it. There's a slip counter, and I think it might be all she wrote here. I've seen crazy decisions, but I think that's a 2-1 for Mihai War. But third round, you know, he did his work. He definitely did his work. Although that round 2, Mihai War knocked him down. I believe Mihai War knocked him down again in that third round. And it just comes, just as you said, right? Just when he has the fight where he needs to be, he just doesn't have that flow to finish. Does not have that flow to be able to finish the fight. Oh! No, I think Mihai got it. Yeah.
Yep. Rock Roman, the former ESFL competitor, will not be returning. Has to spend some more time developing the skills on the scene. PeaceMihai War, though, finally is welcomed into the ESFL in a big way. First match was the KO. Second was a bit of a war, but again, PeaceMihai was just a step ahead in that one, Romero.
Yeah, definitely a step ahead there. But that was a pleasure to watch. You know, I like seeing when the better player comes through. And when they're going back and forth, right? You see both of them have their said strengths, right? It's not necessarily a blowout, but it's just that small little adjustment, and that's how he was able to win that fight, right? And that's all he had to do. Just realize, okay, he's slip countering me here. I'm going to slip counter and slip counter. But congratulations to Mihai War. We're up against with Jacquees. I guess it's a reference to Request, the UFC 2 cap that we made on YouTube. And BMF, the Bulgarian mother effer Stoyan. In the bantamweight division, my favorite. And Jacquees is using my boy Aljamain Sterling. And BMF is using Rob Font.
This is the Funk Master versus the New England Cartel member. Have to think the hand speed will be with Rob Font. He packs a punch, but Aljamain Sterling controls the grappling equation, has some slick jiu-jitsu, very good wrestling to boot, and he is more of a volume striker on the feet, right? He overwhelms, swarms, and that leads to the level changes of the clinch entries. But down to 135, the question for me, Romero, is speed. It's so quick. Those combinations come out of the gate swinging.
Yeah, and I guess he might make a switch over to Jan. I guess he doesn't want to lose the Force of Nature per. That Force of Nature per is extremely strong. Jan, better striker than Sterling on this game for sure. You know, Sterling has a lot of the crazy kicks, but the boxing is really hard to risk. Now, Font is a really good, solid counter to Jan on this game. So both individuals have Force of Nature, a perk that gives you +3 to either chin, legs, or body when you have a health advantage. Individuals are they're familiar with each other. It's 1-1 between them. This is the first fight out of a best of 3. They're using 2 of the best fighters in this division. And we're going to be in for some fireworks here. I believe so. An interesting camera angle, too.
Dan Mergliotta gets started. Good touch of gloves from both competitors. We'll say each guy is orthodox, but Font is going to experience a slight reach advantage.
Slight reach advantage for sure. He has a long jab. I believe that jab is a pretty high level, showcased well against Cody Garbrandt, going for the lead hook cross there. what both of these guys are doing, they're doing a really good job of footsies, right? Playing that they're in one range, right? Jacquees is waiting for BMF to stay planning one range so he can let loose a three-piece of his own. And what I love proactive defense. When I mean my proactive defense, right? Sometimes you gotta move your head for the first move your head. Why is he moving his head this way? And I see that from both gentlemen. Get some good little drop there. See pulling, threatening the pull counter, right? Trying to get Jacquees to chill out. Lands a nice little cheeky slip counter. The chin of Jan holds up there. And this is already, I don't know about you, Bane, but there's a clear difference between these two gentlemen versus the last few fights that we had. No disrespect to them, but the way these two individuals are managing their distance and they're throwing their counters, I like this. I like this a lot.
There's an evident cerebral edge to the fighting. These are thinking men's fighters 2 minutes through the first round, and we're still seeing a very technical chess match. Neither guy's making a big mistake, but that was a big overhand. Lead overhand on the chin of Rob Font.
Oh, and just like that, the Swiss, Swiss is the first guy to do that. That slip straight into lead overhand. That is his signature thing, and the whole community's picking up on it now. That is a devastating counter. And if you get hit with that, it's not much you can do. There's a Osotogari kind of through the animation there, done proper, but animation kind of wonky there. Unable to get the late denial to get into the back punch to break out. And now we're going to have to see how these boys work off their back. Good switching for Jacquees. He didn't like what he was seeing on the feet. About 2 minutes left to work here. And BMF Stoyan's got to build some grapple advantage to try and get up here.
Stoyan, of course, part of that BMF camp. They are well-rounded everywhere, have good fundamentals in each department of mixed martial arts, and you're just seeing that right now, right? Again, the full guard, now gets the half guard transition. Jacquees is on his back. 90 seconds remain in this opening round.
And one thing that people forget about with the control time in this game, right? If one fighter has 1 minute control, the other fighter has 1 minute control. When it comes to the scoring, it doesn't mean, okay, each guy has 1 minute. It means that they just negate each other's control. That's just how the way the scoring works on this game. So now, for all what was worth that takedown, BMF is now here posturing up, landing some nice heavy bombs. And those ground move levels hit a good amount of damage there. So Jacquees he's off his back here. He's trying to try to posture up and turn.
Good posture up right here from Font. You can see selective striking from BMF Stoyan. Not right exploding, but being very careful with what he's throwing. Not throwing too much. 20 seconds remain. Now back on the feet. Each guy standing and trading a bit in the pocket. Good check left from Stoyan.
Really saw it, and now they're back into that range where they're like playing like, all right, who's gonna step in first? Who's gonna step into the little phone booth, right? Close round. That is a close round. Strikes landed doesn't tell the full story. Like one strike can do more damage than 3-4 little jabs that you did beforehand, right? So that's why I tell people don't look at the stats too much. Know about what you landed. That was a close round, could have gone either way. But that's very significant there from BMF Stoyan, that slip hook. But just to say that Jacquees lands an uppercut hook, nice slip elbow into a three-piece combination there from Jacquees. And they're letting it fly a little bit more, but notice that they're still very calculated. Nice.
Stoyan's really content to just hide behind the forearms and let the strikes dance off the guard. So the guard trip once again right into side control for Jacquees.
That was with the guard, though. There's two ways you can not allow it to happen. If you're constantly moving backwards, your opponent cannot get it. It'll always turn into the body uppercut, or if you're in the opposite stance. So keep that in mind, future ESFL competitors. If you know your opponent has a Sotogari, keep an opposite stance, or try to learn how to fight off your back foot. They won't be able to get it on you. The moment you're able to stay planted in that range, they'll get that Osotogari on you. So right now, Jacquees is now posturing up, lands with good damage. And he did good damage on the feet here. And this takedown was good. Monumental, smart, strategic ground and pound. This is something that I did on esports against Suave Jamie, right? Like I postured up and not concede position. But just like about the same position, BMF Stoyan reverses position, now using selective ground and pound. So it's a very tactical strategy, right? You don't want to risk getting flipped. You don't want to risk getting reversed. But any small, slight stamina disadvantage, and that's you getting subbed.
And that's the second half guard reversal right there that he's utilized. Would think that Jacquees has now made the read and is thinking, okay, that's what he favors to do if he's on the back in that position. Now you can see Stoyan trying to get into that mount, touching the left leg of Jan, but unable to get there. This moment, side control elbows coming in. Those are impactful. They are short, right? They don't look like there's a lot of power inside of them, but they do some significant damage if placed in the right spot. For all right here, denial from No Mercy.
Yeah, they land a good amount of damage. Not anything too much, but of course, anything that's damage related does indeed score. BMF Stoyan, no, that's very impressive. Oh, beautiful. Fade the lead body hook and came up top. That's very Max Holloway-esque against Dustin Poirier and Jose Aldo. That was very clean. And now Jacquees is losing these damage exchanges, right? And both gentlemen. Oh! Ducking. I love that counter.
Wow.
I love that counter. That is one of my favorite counters. And Jacquees, if I could give you $5 on Venmo, I'd send that right over to you right now. Because that was. No, not Jacquees. BMF Stoyan. Excuse me.
Stoyan. And that's the problem, right? If you're Jacquees, that's the most significant moment now through 10 minutes. Now you've lost this second round. It was a very close first round. Coming into this third and final round, Jacquees might be potentially down too.
Right, that first round was extremely close. So we might be looking at a situation here where Jacquees has to try to do something where he can land significant damage, right, heading into this third round. Because it doesn't seem like, unless Stoyan makes a crucial, fatal mistake here.
Oh.
Boy, just as I say that, maybe I gotta stop giving them the commentator stirs. Oh, jumping head kick.
Look at that. No mercy, airborne to conclude the second round. Final 5 minutes are ahead of us. BMF Stoyan with, I mean, that was such a beautiful knockdown, right? Unpacked that in significant fashion, ducked the lead hook, came over with the right hand. That's picture perfect, Romero.
Yeah, very picture perfect. Again, one of my favorite counters. So Jacquees, now he's time to slip elbow, right? He's made the adjustment. And now what he's going to do is going to try to, when you can make your opponent freeze, right, and have them overthink on what you're throwing just from the slightest thing that you do, just moving your head or just feinting out a strike, and you cause them to overload, right? Now you can really frustrate him. Look at those beautiful intercepting elbows. Close. But now you see that Jacquees is now starting to walk him down, landing strikes. He's getting comfortable. BMF Stoyan does not want to allow him to get comfortable. The worst thing is thinking, man, I might have this fight in the bag, and then you just slightly let it fumble. Oh, but no concern there from BMF Stoyan. Gets a heavy rock, and now Jacquees, he's wow, strategic. Beautiful. Caught him high blocking. When you're holding up the high block, you give up significant grapple advantage to your opponent, and that takedown was money. Man.
Look at these elbows in the side control position. BMF Stoyan looking like Albert Einstein with the fight IQ in this one. 3 minutes remain in this opening round of potentially several. Now going for a submission. No. Jacquees denies. Stand up for Stoyan. Interesting.
And now switches over to the clinch, lands a nice little collar tie elbow, intercepting cross. And this is what I mean, right? When somebody, this is something actually I was going to do in a video that's supposed to upload after this. The mistakes that some top level players do, right? Now Jacquees, he's so eager to try and reach his opponent. He's holding the left stick even when he's in the pocket. So he's making the strikes go forward, conceding forward vulnerability. And now Stoyan, knowing that he's up, right, he's going to plant and allow his combos to flow loose. And Jacquees, now it's not the time to be doing the outside in the game. Now you got to force a brawl in the phone booth. He's getting eaten by these combinations. He's continuing to exchange when his short-term stamina is low and his head over is low. And look at that paralysis by analysis, just as I thought, right? Every single time he does
Oh, that's wow! Finish. 152 seconds remain. They were not needed. BMF Stoyan with the clinical dissection of Jacquees. Wow.
That was cold. That was cold, and man, that was so smart. I always love to go to the body, right, when I rock somebody, because a lot of people, they move the head, right? The torso is still going to be there, right, unless it phases through, and then I have to call an angry message to EA to why my body strike phased through my opponent. But other than that, that was just well done. He's like, hey, he's going to move his head, right? His head turret, let me attack the body. Slips, opens up that open side of vulnerability, gets hit by the right hook, tries to turn the other way, gets his liver eaten alive the other side. BMF Stoyan, that was like a beautiful crashing wave, right? It was just nice, smooth, it was controlled, and it starts to get a little bit stronger. And you see that waterfall effect, and just came crashing down Jacquees. And now BMF Stoyan, looking at he's gonna be somebody I'm gonna enjoy watching. He hit 2 of my favorite counters, and then he did something that I like to do. Like, you got a fan in me, brother. So if you get this done, you got a fan in me.
Jacquees looking a little bit like a cookie in that first one. Great at first, but crumbling as it continued, unfortunately. We'll see if he can maybe rein it in, have some more composure in those moments, right? What you were talking about, paralysis by analysis, it was almost in conjunction with the eagerness, right? The urgency to get that one back, right? Make him pay for making you get stunned or things like that. I just want to see more patience.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more patience, but don't be too patient, right? You got to offer it. A little tactic I like to use, like, you know, in my prime days when I played this game consistently, I just maintained the inner circle, right? Even when I hung on the outside, there's a mini octagon in the middle, right? And if I control that area and I don't allow them to push me back from that area and I meet them with something at all points, something akin to what Volkanovski did to Max Holloway, right? That helps out a lot in these exchanges. So we're seeing a similar tune here, right? BMF Stoyan's controlling the center well and offering good offense. But now Jacquees is making some good adjustments with those strikes. Unable to get the slip counter off, right? I think he's holding the block a little bit too long. Beautiful lunge from BMF Stoyan.
Oh.
Elbow. Oh, I like what I'm seeing here.
What's so good about Stoyan is he utilizes that elbow, and then he typically will get out of the way of Jacquees' return, right? The same thing that I was saying. Jacquees wants to throw that elbow, and he gets hit with an elbow, but Stoyan wise to it, already out of the pocket. 3 minutes and 10 seconds remain in this opening round, and you have to think the action is packed, but also closely contested. Not a lot of significant moments through 2 minutes.
Maybe it's not significant in terms of damage, but I can see the mental battle that's being played here, right? I can see when BMF Stoyan, he just throws up one thing, a little jab, right? And he gets this big reaction from Jacquees, like trying to counter him off the one jab that he throws. And he's beating him on the half step, right? Everybody goes to this rhythm. They go 1, 2, right? 1, 2, 3. And BMF Stoyan is catching at the 1, 2, catching right before he's able to get off. And he's blocking, he's being very defensively responsible, changing up the targets incrementally, and that's what's helping him so good. And not even going to the legs, right? He didn't even work the legs in the first fight, tearing up the short-term block of Jacquees. Jacquees, the footsie game is not working, brother. You got to start cutting him off laterally. Going forward and back with a longer opponent, it's hurting him a lot. So you got to try to take a page out of one of the Legend Swiss's book and cut him off laterally.
We'll say one thing that Jacquees isn't really seeming to do is feinting, right? He's not trying to draw the reactions out of Stoyan. He's typically committing to the strikes that he is throwing. We'd like to see just more, right? Maybe double pump the jab a little. Just get Stoyan thinking about something else that's not happening and then come over with a counter. It just seems that he's thinking one-dimensional right now. He's got to be three-dimensional, Romero.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. BMF Stoyan is doing a bit of that himself, right? Like, he's not just feinting with the strike. He's feinting with the head. Fainting with the head movement, right? He faints it. With the Gari. I don't think he can get much here, though, right? That's 40 seconds. Could have probably done that a little bit earlier to get that threat of the mind. BMF Stoyan, I think he's done enough. Good, beautiful reversal. And that scores well for Stoyan, who has a pretty effective side control. Unable to hold him this time, and good deny from Jacquees. So you can already see the adjustments made in the grappling portion of this fight from Jacquees. But Stoyan just a little bit cleaner, a little bit more fundamentally sound, just edging him on those exchanges, you know. And I think that's a 1-0 round for Stoyan.
The grappling conversation seems to maybe be a bit closed, right? Because every time that Jacquees is trying to get down, he gets reversed, whether it be that half-guard reversal that Stoyan was doing so well in that first match, or that one right there. It just seems that the wrestling and the grappling is not going to be an avenue for him to succeed if he's the one shooting.
Yeah, him shooting on him, I think honestly him shooting and trying to hit a turn might be better than going for that Sotogari. Even though he's getting a side control, if he's throwing it out there and attacking his opponent with different types of takedowns, that's going to help open up the strikes to the head. Because now, like I say, he's fully committing to every single strike. There's not much of a setup, right? And look, Stoyan knows this, so now he's not worried when he gets in front, because all this guy wants to do, he just wants to get in the pocket and throw. He has full faith in his ability to throw punches. Stoyan's like, all right, I'll meet you here and I'll tag you right in the middle. Now Jacquees is playing the in and out game a little bit better, but then he's taking damage himself, so it's just too much taking turns here, right? Just waiting for you to go. Go. Beautiful. Trying to go for the body again, maybe trying to replicate that first finish. Jacquees ducks, gets hit by that. Ooh, that was clean. Look at that. Taking what his opponent did to him and doing it right back.
Good return from Jacquees. Might need more of it, Srilla. like a monkey see, monkey do type approach. I can do it better than you. 3 minutes and 27 seconds remain in this second round. And I want to talk about aggression for a moment real quick. I think Jan needs to put the pace on a little bit more, try to suffocate, right? Be in the aggressor type role as opposed to trying to counterplay defensive. That might be an avenue that could help him.
Yeah, he's trying to play aggressive, but in a counter, like he's trying to bait out heavy counters with the way that he's trying to be aggressive. There's some success there, right? You can see a little bit of the flash of BMF Stoyan, but he's still moving in and out, back and forth, gets tagged by that lead overhand. He needs to move laterally and not be afraid of Stoyan there, right? This is what you want. There's a ducking elbow, right? We saw the first fight. This is a very, very technical approach, and both gentlemen. Oh, Stoyan almost made a mistake there a little bit earlier, and he would have got tagged by that uppercut to the body. Uh-oh, spinning elbow.
Look at this. Oh, this is bad. This could be bad for Jacquees. Oh, look at that. The ticket is punched for the Bulgarian mother effer Stoyan. Welcome to the big show. Pitches a massive shutout against LW Jacquees. Finally, the Bulgarians have entered the scene.
Yeah, well done. You got a fan in me, brother. That was just... You see that? He didn't force any of these counters, right? He didn't force any of it, right? He feinted, like he wasn't just feinting with his hands. He was feinting with his head. He's feinting with his shoulders. He's doing everything to keep his opponent trying to go full blast at all times. And he just needed one pull counter and just got him out of the fight. That was just surgical, precise. Look at that beard, almost as clean as mine coming out of the octagon. That was just almost.
Don't know if anyone's beard. I don't know if anyone's beard can rival yours, Romero. You've definitely just got the chops for it, but we'll say, talking about surgery, that was no love on no mercy with those finishing strikes. Have to think the power of that turning of the hip. That's what I love about that strike to the body. When your opponent's leaning and you're really just sitting in on that strike, crushes the liver. If I'm an opponent of BMF Stoyan, I know for sure to block downstairs. Beautiful work from both competitors, but Stoyan, what a good, and again, I just called this fight yesterday. Happy to see him active on the scene.
Man, I mean, I think both guys are definitely ESFL caliber. I will say that. Both guys are definitely ESFL caliber for sure.
Through the first three matchups that we've seen, it has been 2-0 performances on all fronts. We'll see if that continues with the killer in action, Notorious versus Murderer War. But before we get there, I just want to give a bit of a review on those first three matchups. Romero, what do you make of that one? Which has been your favorite so far?
I mean, that last fight had been my favorite fight so far because there was a lot of chaos in the first two, right? So that's very pleasing to the eye. I guess for most other players, it was very pleasing to the eye. Oh my God, he got knocked down here, he got knocked down here. But I love seeing somebody get broken down, right? And still be in danger as he's doing it. Meeting somebody's game plan, not making it too obvious that he's aware. Making him feel, just lulling him to sleep, and then just taking that one instance to just completely expose your opponent and take him out of the fight. That was just extremely well done from Stoyan. You know, I like the Mihai War. You know, he stuck every single time he did the same thing. It's what I say, right? If the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect the same level of success. This is what happens when you're doing the wrong thing over and over again, expecting why am I keep getting countered, right? Mahai took advantage of that from Rock Roman. Rock Roman kept throwing these naked hooks, getting pull countered. Why stop? Chazman and heavy hands. That fight was fun to watch, but that just kind of showed you, right? Anybody can get hurt in this game. Anybody can get rocked. Anybody can get caught. He had his moments in that fight, but Chazman was just a little bit more consistent through that time and when he was on that running clock. So for every 15 seconds of success that heavy hands had, Chazman just had the whole 4 minutes and 45. And that's how he was able to bring it home. So,
and it's all about dealing with adversity too, right? When you talk about PeaceMihai's performance, that really was the definition of rising to the occasion. Every single moment that Rock Roman stunned him, Mihai was able to find the counter, reverse the momentum, and then continue to be in control. Definitely worthy of being welcomed to the big stage. One thing I do want to say, a funny comment in the Twitch chat that I saw when they were talking about the Soto Gari trip, that weird animation that we had first seen. Someone had said it looked like the Rock's people's, elbow or the people's throw. I'm not sure exactly what the terminology was, but good old WWE shout. The rock bottom, I believe, we're getting from the back.
Rock bottom. That's great. That's great.
Now, we'll say, moving onward to our fourth matchup of the evening, KIA Notorious versus Axe Murderer War. It appears that we're going to have a Khabib Magomedov versus a Dustin the Diamond Poirier, sort of a matchup as old as time on UFC 4 and extending from the early games. It's just something that makes sense, right? The jiu-jitsu, but the power of Poirier matching the sambo wrestling dominance of Nurmagomedov. How do you make of this matchup going down?
When it comes down to using Khabib Nurmagomedov in this game, like this game is still with all the grappling stuff, right? The most important thing is your entry when it comes into the grappling, right? So Khabib, he just has a really absurd advantage everywhere on the ground, and that's how he should be, right? But the one thing Dustin does have going for him, he has access to takedown counters. He has access to submission counters. He has better boxing by far than Khabib. And if you're able to throw all the anti-wrestling strikes, the body side kicks, the knees, the front kicks up the middle, the teep kicks, leg kicks too to stop takedowns, it can be a long night for Khabib. And in this game, he's probably been 21-1 plenty of times. But Axe Murder War is staying in the center here, you know, they're going. The HUD's not showing, so I guess we're dealing a little bit of the HUD glitch. But trust me, I played plenty of no HUD to know when somebody's hurt. Action there from KIA Notorious. Now, you don't want to put your back up against the cage, right? Because when you put your back up against the cage, you give up the grappling advantage.
Oh!
Look at
Beautiful
that.
work.
Yeah,
from
great.
Notorious. You can see KIA Notorious, a former ESFL fighter, once again trying to get back into the big show, Axe Murderer War, hoping to make the dream of fighting on this stage come through. Now through the first 90 seconds, shooting twice, getting it down on the second attempt. The Eagle takes it to the mat.
Yeah, and right there, a lot of people tend to have issues with that takedown. It's pretty simple, right? Especially when you're in opposite stances, whatever, it's always going to be shooting on the lead leg. So whatever that lead leg is, right? In that case, it would have been up for Poirier. Now, if they were in the same stance, it would have been down if he had gone for that single leg turn. And that takedown is pretty fast. It's a pretty effective takedown. So now Axe Murder War has more time to work on top, right? Notorious has landed some moderate damage on the feet, but you definitely don't want to get in the crucifix by Khabib. It's not a good time at all. But hey, look at KI Notorious.
Good denial right there.
Passes. Oh,
and gets the posture up. Oh, hip toss on the Eagle. Nurmagomedov wants to. It does pop right back up. But hey, KIA Notorious letting him know, hey, I've got some grappling of my own. Will say Axe Murderer War is an elite side control guy. And he camps that position. He finds the elbows. He finds the transitions. If I'm KIA Notorious, I am very, very cautious of allowing Nurmagomedov into that one. But great reversal of position right there.
Yeah, really good position. You know, he's posturing up. Is he going to try to get up? No, he passes the guard. Good decision. You know, rack up them points. Murder War is taking advantage when KI Notorious puts his back up. Once you get behind that inner black line, the octagon, you give up grapple advantage. And if you're holding high block, you even give it up more grapple advantage. And it makes it easier for your opponent to take him down. But now, look how the tides have shifted, right? KI Notorious is a mount, unable to get any strikes there. But you got to think, if you're Axe Murder War, Khabib is looking at the screen right now with a lot of anger and saying, brother, I don't let Dustin do this. Dustin, he's not going to knock me. You know, it's just something that wouldn't happen, right? But that's the situation with Div. And if KI Notorious gets into side saddle and tries to go for the side saddle armbar, you're going to be in some danger. Look at all that damage leading on the head there. Wow, what a punishing script.
You know, the scattering report suggests that Axe Murder is the elite side control member, but Notorious making it work right there. Big reversal late in this first round. Nurmagomedov opening up with the ground and pound. Will say each fight start. Oh! Bit of a Kimura sweep from Poirier.
Well done. Well done. And that, I feel like KI Notorious has done enough damage-wise and has been on top long enough to negate whatever Axe Murder War has, right? So Murder now knows, okay, this guy isn't no slouch on the mat, right? He has a BJJ black belt for a reason. So I got to either change up my entries and time them a little bit better, and I got to do a little bit more damage on the feet, right? The best thing you could do is when you rock somebody, shoot a spear, right? Shoot a spear, shoot it when they're by the cage, because if they sprawl, you can get the fast get-up transition, or maybe you can go for the side control if they deny the wrong way. Got to open up a little bit more, right? All right, you can't just shoot naked and expect to get a takedown. Spinning back kick from Khabib. Hey, when did Khabib come after Barboza? Somebody tell me this, bro. I got to talk to you. But beautiful takedown.
Nurmagomedov opening up early. And now right into side control, right? This is just not where KIA Notorious wants to be, but he's proven through 5 minutes that he can reverse the position. Now, Axe Murder War returning the favor with the elbows. Crucifix for Nurmagomedov. Bad for Poirier.
this is one of the worst positions to be in because there's a submission threat. There's the elbows,
Oh,
time. And I don't think you get stood up from there. Maybe you might if it's too long in that position. I don't know what the timer is there in Crucifix, but that's terrible. But great job on Kenny Notorious for getting out of there because anybody, bro, if I told my little brother how to work Crucifix and I told him you just gotta deny left or right, he could knock me out in Crucifix. That's just how devastating this position is. And a great denial there. I don't see he's not gonna go for any submissions there. Oh man, that's not good for KIA. Oh, le
bit
está
of
doliendo la cabeza, lo está dando duro. Oh, man,
wow.
that head is
So
bleeding.
yeah, lacerations open up on both sides, courtesy of the Eagles' elbows. This is just a tough mental spot as well for KIA Notorious. This dominance through the second round has to be frustrating, especially after you were able to have success in the grappling department in round one, right? It seems that he's turned up the difficulty a notch. The Eagle is showing some more grappling than he did in that first 5.
And good on KI Notorious there to deny that Crucifix for the third time there. Murderer were getting a little bit too antsy there, right? If you've already gotten the Crucifix twice, I think now it's a good time to try to get to mount, right? Like now he's worried about denying to the right. Now try to go to the left, right? He's gonna try to go. Is he gonna go for Crucifix again? We'll see. If he builds up the grapple advantage, he might go for it again. KI Notorious has full grapple advantage there, but this is effective groundwork from Axe Murderer War. Really, really well done here. Right? Khabib like too. Maybe needs to posture up a little bit more. Doesn't want to give the sprawl position. Transitions here. KI Notorious gonna get up. No, Murderer gets up. Oh, but he punches his way
right back in. Interesting. Makes Notorious think, oh, I can get back to the feet, and then absolutely reverses that narrative. This is just a tough scene for the killer in action. Now stacked guard for Nurmagomedov. Those strikes are coming down with some lethal power. Poirier does get the feet on the hips, goes for the De La Hiva trip, does stand with a minute remain, has to make something big happen if he wants this round back in his pocket.
Yeah, that was a big opportunity right there to make something happen, right? Like he had Khabib fully extended. Beautiful takedown attempt, but gets denied. I don't know if the Gill is banned today, but he could probably go for the hip toss, maybe try to score off of that. Oh, straight overhand, Swiss style. You see that? Yo, Swiss, you were game trending.
Oh!
The head elf
Nurmagomedov stunning Poirier. That's down, Dustin.
Wow. Khabib.
Khabib's got power. He's got some power, Romero.
And that was all the work in Crucifix. That's how you make somebody like Khabib work. Like a fresh counter, fresh Dustin is gonna be really hard to strike with them, right? But after you wear on somebody in the grappling department, right? Look at the damn kick. They're gonna be mad that he has that kick, right? But it's just the work in the posture position, the work in the Crucifix. Now the head elf. Now you know the head elf is low, especially from all the blood on the face of Dustin. And Khabib has insane cardio too, so I think he's gonna need. Notorious might need a knockout here, or at least a couple of knockdowns to sway things in the judge's favor. Beautiful takedown again. Puts himself by the cage, makes it harder for himself to deny that turning transition, which there he would have been up to deny that double leg. Oh, beautiful denial from Axe Murderer War. Fakes the sprawl from KI Notorious, excuse me. Tries to go for the Crucifix again. Just constantly threatening and not caring if he gets denied, not worried about the dart stroke from Poirier there.
Oh! KIA Notorious still announcing himself as equally good in the grappling department. The king of Lafayette, Louisiana, now posturing up, putting some ground and pound on Nurmagomedov.
Well done with that shot selection there, but I think he's recognized that, look, I don't know how they scored that first round. I'm not going to take too many chances there. So what I'll do, but you see that? The takedown set it up. Well done. Beautiful. Had him low blocking. We saw that 2 fights ago, I believe, or I believe 2 fights ago or a fight ago, right? Opponent's so worried about the takedown, you end up dropping your hands and getting tagged by that head kick. Doesn't matter who you are. You get hit to the shins to the head. That shit gonna hurt.
Oh.
And a good
Poirier reverses. We'll say. Now, the question in my mind is that second round, could it be potentially a 10-8? Even if KIA Notorious is successful getting the first and third on the judges' scorecard, that was a really, really dominant second set of 5 minutes for the Eagle.
Yeah, it could potentially be a 10-8, especially with the damage and a knockdown and the control time. Like all the factors lead up to it potentially being a 10-8. And now, I don't think KIA Notorious is gonna win this around, right? Oh man, this is bad. This is really bad.
Getting stunned getting controlled. Axe Murderer War is living up to the name in the first of potentially several fights between these two.
Yeah, I'm gonna need it. If you run into a guy named Axe Murder War on ranked championship, he's gonna chill, have a good time, bro. You might as well just turn off your console, bro. He's gonna he's gonna put you in through the
Yeah.
blender, bro. He's gonna make your
Reminds me
experience
of
not a fun one. But we got a minute left here. Gets
oh,
up, gotta make something happen here. Can't afford to give up a takedown. Maybe try to get for a pull counter. Don't give that space, right? Oh, beautiful
oh,
inside slip to the check hook. Okay. Try to go for a takedown,
and
but
gets taken down.
yeah,
Nurmagomedov shoots for the hip and gets it under a minute to go. You have to think that this one is all but decided unless Poirier can pull something out of the sleeve. K Notorious does get the reversal, though.
yeah. Oh, but I
Ah.
don't think he has enough time. Not enough time. I think Murderer War has successfully taken this first fight. Valiant effort from KI Notorious, not getting finished there in that second round. But that first round was close, right? But the adjustments were made, and what he does grappling-wise was entry throws just enough to keep his opponent hesitant on the feet, and it was just able to take him down almost every single time he wanted to. That was a really, really solid performance. Whoa, 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 whoa! What is this animation? Nah, fam.
Herb Dean yet to raise the hand of either fighter. We'll see what happens. Poirier has the hand raised.
Was there a rock for Poirier? That first round was close. Okay.
There it is. Nurmagomedov secures what we can all consider the correct decision from the judges. But the question for me, Romero, is in the striking department, Nurmagomedov was the one that stunned Poirier, that knocked Dustin down. If I'm KA Notorious, I'm now looking at a disadvantage in several different areas of mixed martial arts, right? The striking didn't work out. The grappling didn't work out. And so now we're getting a fighter change to Charles do Bronx Oliveira.
Right. You see, that's a good point that you brought up, right? But if he realizes that the only reason those errors in the striking happened was because he was so worried about the takedown, right? Then it wouldn't happen. Sometimes I do this, right? If I know somebody's gonna take me down, right? The turns happen if you're trying to late deny the takedown, right? Sometimes I'm very confident in my full guard. I'll let the person take me down to guard just so I can reverse them, right? Like you see, like jiu-jitsu guys, they'll let a wrestler take them down just so they can get into their wheelbarrow, right? And I think K.I. Notorious should, if he shoots a takedown, I guess he wants to shoot his own takedown. Don't know how I feel about that. And now we're into Axe.
Oh.
Now he's shooting, he doesn't care, but good denial there from K.I. Notorious.
Oliveira a bit more even in the striking attributes with Khabib the Eagle Nurmagomedov than Poirier, but the grappling still largely in the Dagestani's favor. Right there, gets it to the ground, right into that side control position that the Axe Murderer has shown he is quite adept at.
Very devastating there, still constantly threatening that crucifix position. Great denial there, and then he gets the crucifix this time. And Axe Murder War, this is exactly where he wants to be, right? Notice he's going to take his time here, right? This is a position you got to take your time. And good transition out to get the side saddle. Denied the backside. It's got to be real careful here. I don't know if there's any ESFL rules in place for this. I assume there might be. I mean, yeah, if they're in place, then I don't have to see anything with the side saddle arm triangle. But right there, I believe he denies the posture up, rolls into full guard. And this is where you want to be if you're Charles Oliveira, right? You want to look for trying to get the submission. You need to have like delayed rhythm tempo. Good reversal.
Once again, that's the third time he's hit that half guard transition reversal. I mean, Axe Murderer War showing some really good offensive grappling, but defensively, right? You can't allow a guy to make that move on you on 3 separate occasions.
Yeah, and that's a good denial. Oh, nice. And one thing with the top control, right? With the stats do matter when it comes to denials for the little things, right? And maybe that could have been it. Axe Murderer War is now in some bit of danger. And he's not electing to go for a submission here. Interesting. I think I would have gone for the Kimura, man. That Kimura would have been lights out money for me. But that might have shifted things in his favor because now K.I. Notorious establishes the damage, right? And now showing, hey, I got Charles. I'm not as scared of you on the ground anymore. And now the striking deficiencies are showing. Good little strategic clinch there, trying to work against the cage. Clinch break uppercut there, punishes the head health of K.I. Notorious. jab, cross one more time. Just keeping it very meat and potatoes on the feet. Shoots underneath the jab. Well done. Beautifully timed and gets him down side control. You see, that's a position where I just give it the takedown. Don't even try to deny it. Give it up, gets a full guard, and try to hit a submission from there. Because this is a way worse place to be in here if you're in a Charles Oliveira. But hey, just as I see it, I get the Camaro sweep.
Now in a half guard is KA Notorious. Locks in an arm triangle, potentially 35 seconds remain. Not going to be able to tap out the Eagle, but getting the control time, right? This was a pretty close round. You have to think those elbows from Oliveira in that side control position were quite significant, but very even through 5 minutes, Romero.
Pretty even. I think the submission attempt is going to help. It's an offensive action and the reversal, right? That ground and pound ain't going to help him too much, right? He's looking at the stats. Right. So it doesn't matter. Like I said, right? Even though it says 1:40 control time for both gentlemen here, right? It's just going to exit out of each other's thing. It doesn't matter. Really, he has 2 seconds of control time. That's how it's going to work in the scoring, right? Like, he controlled you as much as you controlled him. So it's not really anything significant. The damage is in the favor, I feel, of KI Notorious. And if he's composed, he's going to realize, oh, wait, I won that first round, right? So let me keep doing what I'm doing. And if he starts to switch things up, I'm going to punish him. I like to see him use those body teeps. I like to see him throw a little bit more knees, try to use some of the body side kicks to keep him honest and keep him at range.
And you could see the differential in total strikes, yes, was in Dubronx's favor. But when you looked at significance, there was a slight edge to Nurmagomedov. KA Notorious not really sitting on the strikes as much as the Eagle. Does avoid that takedown right there early in round 2, though.
Oh, beautiful pull counter uppercut. Hard rock. And he drops him. And that's all he needed, right? That one habit. Now he's going to shoot. Denies the takedown this time. Good adjustment. And hits him with the hip
throw. Beautiful. KIA Notorious now impressing in the first minute of round 2. Massive moment for him here.
That was a beautiful sequence. Like, that entire sequence there was really fucking beautiful. Excuse my French. Really, really.
But now it's been turned. The Eagle has the back. Nurmagomedov hooks in. Oliveira unsuccessful in reversing it. Has the hands on the grip. Can he break it? No, he cannot, Romero.
No, he can't. He's got to be careful. You don't want to give up that armbar, but look, he's in the full guard position. I believe Khabib has a Kimura from here. He tries to hit bump, trying to get to the back take, unable to. And beautiful pass into guard. Denies that transition. Got to watch out for the Kimura. No, it likes to go back into the full guard. And KI Notorious, if I'm here, I just knocked this boy down. I just rocked him. Had him extremely hurt. But unable to retain his guard. His guard retention still needs a little bit of work here. Landing, getting some grapple advantage there. Unable to pass. Hips of Oliveira slipped through. Trying to pass a hip bump a little bit. Another denial. I love the active grappling, right? They don't care if one guy gets denied. They're just continuing to move. And that's what you like to see, especially for somebody watching as a spectator here on the Proving Grounds 9 for ESFL. These are talented individuals here. Good. Kimura gets denied here. This gets denied. Oh, but you just have to get up. Doesn't go for a submission. Interesting. I would have gone for the armbar. Well done here from KI Notorious.
Dubronx landing on the feet. 90 seconds remain in this second round. You have to think with a knockdown being the most significant moment. Notorious probably has this one in the books. The Eagle can equalize the equation within the last minute and a half here. Not pushing Oliveira up against the cage. Thought he was going to shoot right there. Chooses to continue to stand and trade, landing right hand after right hand on the chin of the champion. Nurmagomedov now eating a combination from Dubronx.
Yeah, and, tries to sneak in that cheeky head kick that he landed in the first fight, trying to catch him with his hands low, but I don't think that'll happen if he's not as worried about getting taken down. Oh, beautiful pull. You see, Notorious.
That's it. That is it. KIA Notorious with a beautiful heat-seeking missile of a cross. Absolutely separates the Eagle from existence. The wings have been clipped in the second matchup, Romero. Wow.
Hey, yo.
That was fast. That was a fast punch.
That was just... He hit him with the check left hook, the left hook that he landed on Chandler in his real fight. And then just when he gets overzealous on his striking, he punishes him with a cross pull counter from Kratos himself, bro. That was just wow.
Nurmagomedov was staring up at the ceiling after that one, unsure what occurred. Big two equalizes the equation. KIA Notorious comes back in a big way. 1-1 apiece. There is one final fight to determine who will be welcomed into the ESFL roster. Will K and Notorious be back in the big show once again, or can Axe Murderer War finally realize his ESFL dreams?
You know, that this is the first fight, the first best of 3 that's actually gone where it's 1-1 apiece, right? Like, this is the first one. And I think that now a lot of things with the grappling with this grappling is a great equalizer. There's only 4 directions total, right? There's a lot of little hidden strategies with the grapple advantage and everything, but it's great equalizer. You can be an okay striker, but if you can get the fight to the ground, you can shift things into a certain direction. Now, KI Notorious, because he has a grappler that can grapple on par with Khabib, and his striking is the better. I thought he was the better striker in the first fight. He just got caught by the setup, by the takedowns. He's not concerned too much about the takedown threat anymore, so he's not going to get caught with his hands down once again and giving up a round that he's won. So this changes things drastically for Axe Murderer War, and now we got to see, what did I say before, right? The adjustments. Right, all right, what are you gonna do now? Is his striking gonna get any better from the last fight to now? Is he gonna become some type of pressure striker and kind of abandon the takedowns for a little bit? I think he's out of his element right now because he's not used to all this confidence. Right now, he's gonna try to clinch. That's a good little change up in the game plan. Oh, you see that pull counters there? He's leading with
One
that
thing,
first strike.
one thing to mention, of course, something Robin Black might also bring into the conversation, the neurological element. The first fight was a decision. The second was a finish. The stoppage is in KI Notorious's corner. If I'm Khabib, the Eagle Nurmagomedov, that's sort of what I'm thinking about potentially as well. This guy finished me. I decisioned him. Now this third fight, we'll see what they each have. Half guard regained for Oliveira.
You know, because it's a matter of time, right? And if in the flip side of that, right? Think, oh, if I had more time, I could have finished to myself, right? So maybe sticking back to what works, maybe not overthinking the situation, thinking, look, how about I just don't give this guy a chance to knock me down, right? Let me just suffocate him. Let me just keep the pressure on him, not allowing him to create space. Beautiful sweep, man. It's susceptible every single time when he's on top. That jiu-jitsu work is amazing. And if I'm carrying a torch posture up, maybe trying to transition, no, let's not to. Posture's right back down. Another good denial. Probably not going to go for the arm triangle. I think it'd be better to go to mount than deny another transition. Maybe try to go for the arm bar, from the posture up arm bar. Sprawl transition. No, not the sprawl transition. Gets a reversal.
Gets it into full guard. 90 seconds remaining in this opening round, has been very closely contested through 3.5. KI Notorious pops up to his feet. Have to think, if I'm Khabib, I'm thinking about the shots from the killer in action.
Sure. I love the way he shoots that takedown, like he tries to shoot it under the strike. But now, like, you know, he's privy to it. Right? He knows this is coming. Now goes for the clinch, right? Trying to close it out a little bit. But KI Notorious, now he's on his P's and Q's, right? He's like, I know what this guy has to offer. Going for another takedown again. Under jab. Notice that the best takedown turns that he hits is when he gets underneath the jab. Not when he doesn't successfully avoid a strike, he has a harder time getting that turn and gets denied every time. Speaking of turn, he is trying to turn that shoulder out with this Kimura. Is KIA Notorious holding on to that wrist. I think he's just doing this kind of stall for time a little bit. I don't think he'll get us unless there's like some type of chain or something, but the submission defense of Khabib Nurmagomedov is pretty significant, but so is the submission offense of Charles Du Bronx Oliveira. 3 seconds left. I think it's a KI Notorious round.
The clock definitely was not in his favor with that submission. Definitely just trying to rally it out. 38 total strikes for Oliveira, 32 for Nurmagomedov. 9 significant strikes for the Eagle. Didn't catch the numbers on Oliveira's significant strikes, but yeah, I have to agree. Notorious, 10-9 in the third and final matchup between these two competitors.
To notice, right? Like, you notice how low the strike numbers are? Well done. It's that once you throw in the grappling threat, that changes the way like the strike numbers are, right? When you have two people that are willing to constantly strike, right? You'll see the 8, 70, 80, 90, or even 100 strikes around type of thing, right? They get real comfortable. When you have somebody that's threatening you with takedowns, right? That forces you to think, oh man, I don't want to get caught with a takedown after I throw this head kick, or after I throw this overhand, or if I throw too much here. And that's when somebody implements that threat, that's when you send the seed that the pace slows down a little bit. And now KI Notorious, he understands the assignment, right? He's like, all right, I got myself a grappler, can't strike as well as me. I am able to outmaneuver him in these set positions. I'm going to be very patient with my passing. I'm going to try and get maybe some control here. He's going to try to reverse. No, his opponent does not try to reverse here. Postures up, goes right back down. Well done here. That's a cheeky way to maintain control, no?
Third time. It's such a quirky maneuver to stand up and then leap back into the guard. Third time we've seen that in these two guys' matchups. Always love it. It's something that disrupts the momentum, right? It's something that you think I'm going to have a second to stand, and you're immediately right back into trying to fend off the ground and pound. We'll say crowd rallying around KIA Notorious. Mr. Humbledink, of course, big member of that camp, hoping for his boy to get back in to the ESFL.
And that's a really look at that comeback, right? That first round, you think, man, he's gonna get he might just get grappled this next, 2 fights, and Max Murder's in the ESFL. But KI Notorious, you never seen that meme, right? Where like the guy's like he's playing casually like this, right? Full try hard mode, and he just gets all the way forward.
He leans forward.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be me when I'm streaming sometimes. But right now,
Great
look at
peppering
him.
strikes.
Well done from KI Notorious.
And that's just assaulting the left side of the Eagle's body. Just a little salt and pepper right on the liver. Now standing 90 seconds remain in this second round. KI Notorious has to make something happen with the feet potentially. Or rather, no, axe murder. Oh!
That ducking cross counter, me gusta mucho. And the liver's on the right
Look
side of
at
the body. Tries to get the takedown, but doesn't get it. Oh, wait, he does get it. My bad. I thought you got the late And anyway.
Oliveira rolling over to sprawl position. Eagle stance. Probably going to hop back in. Oh, up kick! Up kick on the Eagle!
Yo, whoever gets the first knockout via up kick, I'll Venmo them $50. Like on ESFL, I'll Venmo you $50. That is, this is picture perfect, right? Couldn't ask for more. Your opponent's not really going for takedowns off of the clinch too much. You've already rocked them pretty significantly hard. That left hook is money for KI Notorious. Still shooting, goes to the bail. That's a good strategy change. Doesn't overcommit on the hook there. Oh, but that bleeds through.
Bleed through, absolutely. I have to believe, right, with the striking at least would suggest KI Notorious might be up 2 rounds against Axe Murder War. Axe Murder War in a position where we didn't think he'd be in, right? The elite side control, the dominance of the Sambo of the Eagle, you thought would be better, but Notorious making the most of his opportunities on the feet.
Yeah, so on KI Notorious, I think Notorious did take these first 2 rounds, but one of the worst things I don't like about this game, right? There's no draws in this game. Draws don't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So as a result of that, there's a 10-8 round at any point of a fight, right? If you could lose the first 2 rounds, and if they weren't 10-8s, they were 10-9s, and a person wins a 10-8 in round 3, you could completely shift the other first 2 scorecards. I don't like it at all, but that's something that could happen. So if Axe Murder War is able to stay on for 4 minutes and land damage from a neon belly or posture up position or get the top mount and rock him a couple of times, that could be bad news for KI Notorious. And it'll be pretty tragic to see. So if I'm Notorious, good job getting into full guard. Try to take away some of that control time. There's no control time here in full guard. Beautiful.
Big reversal. Once again, the 4th time that he's hit that reversal in these guys' matchup. 3 minutes and 20 seconds with which to work. Now Notorious going to work with the ground and pound. One thing to mention, either get the 10-8 for Axe Murder War or get the finish. Find the stoppage. But the issue with that, Romero, is that Axe Murder War might be able to put himself at more risk, open himself up more trying to get it. And that's when Notorious is at his most dangerous. Finding that counter to someone going for a big strike.
Yeah, no strike. And seeing the way his strike selection is, I don't think he has much of an arsenal outside of the meat and potatoes 1, 2, 3 and the 1-2 uppercut, right? We don't see anything else that's coming set up from it. It's just the setup and takedown. And now on the ground, it's slowly sure that he's getting out grappled here. And KI Notorious, he knows that, oh man, there's like 2 minutes left. And he wants to stay up on the feet, right? Oh, he successfully evaded his pull counter attempt, denies that takedown. Oh, well done. Oh, but he fumbled it. He fumbled the bag. That's the first time I've seen that single leg bail since it got patched. That was a perfect time to bail to the back, go for back sitting, deny transition, and go for the armbar. That would have been absolutely a crazy sequence to go for. But there's a minute 20 left. You can feel the pressure. Good cross counter. Shoots a takedown.
Great takedown. We'll say once again, Nurmagomedov ducking under the strikes. Okay, Notorious, as you mentioned. He is a great wrestler. Axe Murder War clearly has an intelligent game plan when it comes to getting it to the mat, but the problem is staying there, it seems. The control time and just the dominating of the ground. Notorious able to squeeze out of a lot of these positions. Now Kimura attempt once again denied from the Eagle.
Ooh, and this Kimura is a lot deeper than the other attempts. And if KI Notorious is able to, he already put on a stellar performance within 2 rounds. If he's able to submit Khabib Nurmagomedov, with 20 seconds left, I'll be surprised. But this does a lot of good for him, right? Rocked him, controlled him, and did more damage to him in that first round. I will be very surprised, and I would write a strongly worded letter to EA if he somehow loses this decision. Because a very strongly worded letter with a lot of profanity, because I think he got this one done.
Khabib Nurmagomedov looking with disdain as the referee separates them. Again, have to believe, right? Notorious didn't have to win. We're going to skip right through the animation. Oh!
Nah, bro. Nah.
Oh.
Nah.
Oh.
No.
Oh, boy.
No.
Wow. Talk about a massive upset, disappointing result here. Khabib, the Eagle Nurmagomedov, catches the decision over Charles do Bronx Oliveira, KIA Notorious. Maybe he should be coming back to the ESFL, but unfortunately, he will not be. Murderer War closes the matchup here. I mean, that is a let's see the scorecards of this one. 29-28. Looks like it was a split decision.
I see exactly.
Wow.
Okay, never mind. All right. So that first round, like I said, right? That strike total in that first round, I know it was like a little bit off. I thought he did a little bit more. KIA left that round 3 a little bit too close for comfort. That's what it was. He entertained it a little bit too much on the ground, and he put himself. Although I still think he should have rightfully won that. I think Judge 1 has it correct, in my honest opinion. But oh man, that's gotta sting, man. I don't know if Dana White's gonna have to send some bonus money to
Notorious.
Maybe
we have seen
or to Luke to trying to let this guy in the ESFL, because I think Murderer's in, but I think if anybody deserves a chance back, it's KIA Notorious, especially after that. Like, come
on the Contender Series, we did see an example of the winner and loser getting contracts, but that'll have to be a conversation for the boys in the back. So talk about an unfortunate ending. Notorious, a former ESFL competitor, fighting his way back. That first was a comeback, right? That first fight, he was decisioned. It looked as if Axe Murder War was just a step ahead everywhere. Notorious turns it around in a big way. And he had the crowd rallying for him, the fan favorite. Oh, there, Romero's writing the letter. Romero's pen and paper. If I'm EA, I'm expecting a strong. Oh boy. Well, we'll talk in the back about the killer in action, Notorious's future potentially within the ESFL. But either way, Romero, the final matchup of the evening is taking place. Pressure versus Storm, the former AK member. This was a massive camp in the esports competitive landscape. AK no longer. Pressure on his own, the independent contractor. Both trying to get back both trying to get to the ESFL, so we will see who can get it. Good head movement, good striking, good grappling, great everywhere is Pressure. Storm equally as well-rounded. Romero down at 135. That's your favorite division. I'll let you take us through this matchup.
So with this matchup here, the one advantage that TJ Dillashaw has to take away the Sotogari trip of Jan is that he can go southpaw. With his switch stance being 99, which virtually means he can hit the same level of power from both stances, right? So if you want to avoid the Sotogari, you can stay in the opposite stance, and you're able to strike just as well. The move levels are slightly lacking in the punches for TJ when it comes to going against Jan, but the kicks are in the favor of TJ. So TJ, I don't think he's gotten any health buffs yet. That's the one little issue. That force nature perk is really strong, but by nature, I had to defend my title with TJ Dillashaw beating Papa Doc's Jan back in season 1. I'm always going to be a little bit biased towards the TJ picks when it comes against a Jan, because Jan is just extremely built like a tank to deal with, but beatable. And we're going to see this happen now in this final fight for the Proving Grounds 9. Good body kicks, meeting with the
Storm.
cross. Yeah, Storm is bringing the goddamn Storm.
He's just aggressing. Yeah, the thunder and lightning within the first minute. Already on the face of the former bantamweight champion, TJ Dillashaw, fighting off the back foot. Pressure doing the best that he can. But, you know, if you're calling yourself Pressure, you want to reverse this momentum. Get in the face of No Mercy. Good stick right there from Dillashaw.
Ooh, gets tagged there, trying to move over to the left side over his hip by that body kick. Moving his head a lot, right? But Storm has a certain sequence that he's following, right? Everything is predicated off that double jab, and then after he throws that cross, right, it's either going to be a lead hook or a lead uppercut. So that's a perfect opportunity to try and go for the pull counter. Whips on the body teep there, tries to go for the cross lead hook. There's a sequence. There's a certain rhythm, right? Now Storm is rhythm stepping, right? And I think now AK Quick Hands is picking up on it. Beautiful trip attempt denied by AK Quick Hands. And now they're getting into the zone, right? It's only a matter of time with the way these guys are throwing this heavy layer before somebody gets dropped.
And you could see, right, AK quick hands then reverses the sort of position a little bit, circles out, now takes the center of the octagon. Jan fighting forward, trying to push Storm, using that double jab, like he said, a lot. And that's opening yourself up for the slip straights, the slip counters, all of those movements. 2:45 remains in this opening round. Action packed at bantamweight. Shot from Jan.
And successfully gets the takedown. Now, one thing I would have liked to see Quick Hands do is try to use the signature hook from TJ Dillashaw that is performed by using the left stick and then lunging to the rear side or the open side. And that does a good amount of damage to the evades, jabs, and crosses, and you can chain it into combinations. So that's something I'd like to see if he gets back on the feet. Now, Quick Hands is doing the strategy of maintaining grapple advantage and maybe looking to try to get a reversal. Lost his grapple advantage, and Storm's doing a good job on top. But Quick Hands is able to deny that pass in transition on, let's see, faking, and good job for Quick Hands off of his back, throwing the strikes and getting the ref stand up. Storm unable to generate much offense on top.
That might have been a somewhat of a quick stand-up, I believe. But either way, good work by Pressure to get back to it. Spinning attempt right there from Jan doesn't land. Combination on the inside does. Dillashaw hiding behind the guards, tries that push, but unsuccessful. Teep to the body, momentarily knocks down Jan. Suplex City! Suplex City, baby! 1 minute, 10 seconds remains. TJ Dillashaw takes a page out of the WWE book and sends no mercy to the canvas.
That's a beautiful takedown. That takedown scores a lot more than the takedown that Storm did, right? It's a very impactful takedown. It's a damaging takedown. There's damage to the body. There's a little bit of damage to the head. These denials are pretty heavy. I think if I'm Quick Hands, I might go for the arm triangle here just to kind of solidify the round, right? Just throw it in there just to be like, oh, he might think about submitting me. That's really close on the feet here. You see it? Oh, there's a lot of, when you see that animation come up, that pulsing alarm is letting you know your opponent is hurt. I think Quick Hands with that takedown and that postured up, raining down that damage, might have taken that first round, but hey, I don't want to have to write another strongly worded letter to you yet. So.
Definitely a tough conversation when you're looking at judging the first 5 minutes of this one. Each guy had moments, but yeah, you look at how the round was closed. AK Pressure on top, raining down the strikes, and that suplex, as you mentioned, was impactful. It does come down to significance at the end of the day, in my opinion.
Significant strikes, there's really, I think a lot of things, the word significant, right? You think it means significant damage, right? But it actually just means strikes landed at a distance, believe it or not. So that's why I don't try to look at a significant strike total. It doesn't really mean too much. What you want to focus on is what strikes are snapping his head back. What strikes are causing that heavy hit stun reaction. That's what I look at when I'm fighting with no HUD. And now you're seeing the head of Jan snapping back, right, as he's landing these double jabs and crosses. Intercepted with a knee there, but gets tied at a lead hook. TJ Dillashaw with a 40 strike hit differential and improvement. Jab, head rocks on Storm. And now he goes to the lead hook cross. Wow.
TJ Dillashaw lighting up Petr Yan in this one. Absolutely touch, boom with that jab, cross combination to begin this. Now a midsection kick. The assault continues for Pressure. Storm trying to rally and get his way back into this one. Oh!
Good job trying to disguise the head kick behind the cross, expecting that his opponent might potentially slip there.
Oh! Pressure, that is, he closes it! He closes the first matchup. 3 minutes remain in the second round. Once again, made it TJ Dillashaw with a beautiful finish of Storm.
That uppercut was dinero, not even money. That was dinero. That was nice. Feeling at a restaurant. Me noté un poco de presidente because that was clean. And the damage was, right, when he got him on that knockdown, he didn't just go 1, 2, 1, 2, right? He went 1, 2, pause, then lead hook cross, and then delayed the time, but then continue with another flurry. And the head up did not recover. Like, you have to allow your head up to recover before you get back in during the exchanges. It's something I was going to talk about in one of my most recent videos. You have to be aware of that head up. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're Jan or Conor McGregor or Francis Ngannou, if your head up is low, you get tagged by any hard shot. That's it. And right now, Pressure with a 1-0 lead and an emphatic one at that.
Talking about pressure. Pressure's definitely on for Storm. This could be the end of his ESFL dreams, at least for the current moment. Again, it seemed that Dillashaw step ahead in the striking realm, but you looked at that opening round. Storm came forward, was the aggressor, pressured Pressure, a lot more cut off the cage. I think if he wants to even it out, go one apiece. That's probably the strategy. Make pressure, make mistakes. You know, get in his face, make him worried, mentally try and break him early. I think that was the most success that he had in that first fight.
Well, with that first fight, even though he was pressuring forward, right? And the old school scoring, right? You know, people talk about the octagon control and whatnot, but if you're controlling the octagon, control of the octagon is controlling the exchanges that are happening in the ring, right? It's not enough to just walk forward and getting blitzed by certain strikes, and then that's octagon control, because that's surely not the case. And Quick Hands is just fighting extremely well. He was on the back foot, but he was the one truly controlling the exchanges as the fight went later on. And see, we're having an issue here. Connection to your opponent has been lost. I guess maybe he wants to exchange his pick or something. That's an interesting creative fighter. Okie dokie.
You love that one. We'll wait till it gets figured out. But now, this could potentially be the end of the proving grounds. I mean, stakes could not be higher. You know, once again, Storm nearly qualified for the Summer Series through a very strong showing in the open qualifier, now dropping one to pressure. You know, talking about adjustments, Romero, maybe shooting a bit more, trying to grappling a bit more. What do you think that Storm needs to do based on their first matchup?
What Storm needs to do is, right, you got that Slotagaris as an option, right? It's a low threat you can have, but that's a lot of in and out with the pressure, right? And then staying in his face, but not recognizing when he's getting tagged up in the pressure, in the pocket, excuse me. So he needs to go move a little bit more left and right laterally, take the exchanges that he's won, step back just slightly, not all the way. Don't allow your opponent to recover. Take those small exchanges and allow it to build. And then that's when you want to implement the grappling. If you choose to do that to take your opponent in a different level of the fight, then you can let your hands open it, right? But on the ground, though, the only thing that X's that out, pressure's the better grappler than this guy, right? We saw it happen, right? He controlled him in side control, and he did some a lot of damage. He's the better grappler here. So maybe that's not even an option. Maybe just throwing in those so the guy can screw things up for him. But I think he has to land short damage, be content with what he lands at that set frame, and just constantly chip away as opposed to just pressuring and trying to get your opponent to throw right back at you, because clearly Quick Hands has a quick mind and he knows not to do that.
Dan Mergliata, third man in the octagon to get us started for what could potentially be the end of the proving grounds. Storm needs to be the victor in this one. Dillashaw, good head movement now. A little bit of a sidestep. Oh, clips the chin of Jan.
But right to that little body teep whiff, right? That's one of the most devastating whiffs that can happen to you if your opponent's very privy to it, right? But if you miss that body teep, you're on one leg, and if somebody throws a full power head kick and you are on one leg, it is going to do some damage, and it can lead to a flash KO. So I think pressure just has to be aware of that, right? Throwing in that body kick, good little lead body kick, mixing up with the lead cross, and tries to go with the little martial mind there, you know, going with a lead leg kick, straight strike, and then goes for the lead hook right after the jab. I see you. The little lead hook. Storm is kind of doing the same thing that I told him not to do, right? Like just throwing strikes to close the distance and then to continue to throw while his short-term stamina is low while getting pieced up a little bit.
And, you know, when you talk about leg kicks, if you're limiting the movement of anybody, it has to be TJ Dillashaw. Guy moves for days. I'm shooting leg kicks on him, trying to just keep him stationary, right? That limits the lateral movement. That limits the circling out. But you can already see early in this first round, Jan has a bit of a laceration opened up over the right eye. That's going to limit the visibility of Romero.
Yeah, you see, it's just that pressure is able to counter every single time that Storm wants to exchange, right? He's forcing these exchanges the way he wants to. Now, good leg kick interception, right? I feel like in this game, it's about the quality of the leg kicks as opposed to quantity, unless it's a certain level opponent. Good denial there. Stops that in that nice cheeky clinch uppercut. Ooh, almost could have set up that head kick there. Whiffs on the switch kick. No little single attempt there from AK Quick Hands. I would have liked to have seen that and then maybe go to the bail off after that whiff.
Good push right there. Create some distance. Now, 2 minutes remaining in this first round. Storm back on the offense, trying to be the aggressor. Does land a good leg kick right there to the lead leg. Once again, goes to it.
Yeah, and if you want to take away the head movement of an opponent, there it is. Now he's throwing in the leg kicks. Maybe he has the, you know, the ESFL commentators right next to him on his phone. Listening on a little bit of tidbits here. The leg kicks are a good idea. Just has to be careful he doesn't throw them in the pocket, right, and then get punched back. I've seen guys who are good with kicks like Prioxis get punished when he's throwing a kick in the pocket. That's something that you don't want to do unless you're so confident that you're not going to get hurt by this guy punching at you. So,
good combination from Jan.
Another leg kick again, but not doing too much damage, right? It's just back in the pocket. And now notice that pressure is targeting his body whenever his short-term stamina is recovering and the head as well. So he's trying to force him into that 50-50 in the striking department where he's thinking lower, high, lower, high, lower, high. And it's a good adjustment. And the gas.
Oh.
Ooh, that stamina ain't looking
Look
too
at
fun.
the lead. Oh! It's up TJ Dillashaw. Storm with the most significant moment of the first 5 minutes. The damage on his face is very, very evident, but he is pushing through it, trying to live up to the name. Bring the storm tonight.
You know, that first round, it was very closely contested. I felt like it was in the favor of Pressure, but he stole that round there, and definitely with that rock. It's the most significant moment of that fight. But you see, there's a slight head off disadvantage, right, for Senor Dion over here. A little slip straight action. They're throwing it out there. I would like to see quick hands feint low and then go high with a head kick, right? Like, make it seem like you're going to go low. Maybe go low with a body jab or a body cross and come up high with a head kick and get that specific range. It seems like his opponent is only low blocking a little bit too quickly between the shins, and he's making a mistake. I think Pressure just wants to. He's bringing the storm. Like, he's bringing a whole hurricane over to this man. Beautiful.
You can see the urgency in Jan, but TJ Dillashaw still connecting massively upstairs. The head health of Storm is just quickly deteriorating. He needs to return the favor on TJ Dillashaw. 3 minutes and 35 seconds remains. The absolute struggle is real for Storm in this one, Romero.
Notice that quick hands, right? He doesn't let his short-term stamina get lower to a certain point. He's constantly going to where it says like AK quick. Oh, he commits on that shot and gets stunned again by that pull elbow. But look at the head off of Storm, right? And the reason why that head off is low is because he's getting short-term stamina is low. And he goes out a cheeky little gamesmanship taunt. Look at that,
Storm.
Right?
Needs to be careful in the pocket. The block is not there. The head health is not there either. TJ Dillashaw pushing forward, stalking him like a lion in a Serengeti.
Oh.
Storm.
Wow, what a change in events here, right? Now, if you can't allow your opponent to predicate your decisions with that jab, right? You need to take that jab away from him and start throwing right back at him, plant in the middle, take away that range of the jab because you're waiting too long on that little jab, right? He's only mixing up the jab and then following up the lead hook after the cross. But you see the short-term stamina of Storm is low because he's overthrowing out there every little thing that Pressure is doing. And that's why he's wearing him down with this damage. In the short term, the forearms are feeling it. Nice, beautiful check hook. Oh my God, that's one of my favorite. Oh man, double up to the body and then coming up top with that head hook. That's one of my Aldo favorites. Another lead hook. What a statement he's making here.
Pressure is absolutely cornering the injured Jan. Storm is doing everything he can, but it's just not enough pressure. Tearing him apart. 1 minute remains in this second round. Can No Mercy survive to the third? Once again, big right hand drop Storm. Oh!
First issue of the night. Are we going to see? He's making us. He wants to get. He's like, hey, yo, Papa Luke, I want to get the big bucks. I want to get that 50, the 50 e-currency bucks here because he is styling on them now. This went from like close to wow, beautiful counter to just a trade. I think he's going to end up finishing this fight here. And that's it.
Talk about a statement made. The final fight of the evening. Pressure. One of the former leaders of the disbanded AK camp comes back to competition in a big way at 135, Romero.
Man, that was just you see how he flipped that switch, right? It's not enough to only have one game plan, right? Only one game plan is what his opponent had. Pressure is like, all right, I got this guy downloaded. Like, I know exactly what he's going to do. I don't think he has an answer for me. And once he turned it up, like no joke intended, like he legit turned it up on him and put on the pressure on him. Great show.
Game, set, match. Talk about an execution at the conclusion of ESFL Proving Grounds 9. Congratulations to all the victors this evening. To the ones who didn't get their hand raised, head back to the regional scene, get some work in, and we do hope to see you at the main stage soon. For those still tuning in, ESFL 124 taking place on September 18th, live on Twitch and YouTube. Zayef attempts to make the defense once again on the PlayStation side with Bang Bang in the co-main event. You've got Death Punch versus Spill Actions. Romero, anything you got to say before we close it out?
Man, you're going to tune in to watch the Protege get another title defense next week. But also keep an eye on that co-main event. You don't be slacking on that co-main event. Of course, the boy Ed Parker making his long-awaited return back into the competitive scene in UFC 4. Can't miss it. Tune in to ESFL next week. This has been a great card, and I had a fun commentating alongside you, bro.
Always an absolute pleasure, Romero. I've been the Bane, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.